up? We are back with I think it's episode 11.
Whoa,
I know, yeah. We got some special guests
is that
in the
a lucky
warehouse.
number?
Yeah. 11?
11?
I thought 13 was a
7.
lucky number.
No,
7, 13,
13's
right?
an unlucky number.
Yeah, whoever said
That'd be
13's
a lucky
good.
number. I thought 13
Well, they like
was good.
skip it on elevators and hotels and stuff.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, 13's no good.
It's bad. Friday the
no,
13th.
no,
Yeah,
one
wait,
at the Super
13
8
is a
that we
very
got stuck
unlucky
in.
number.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What? That was,
we got stuck
that was
in
level
that.
5.
Wait,
Same.
I know. Okay, well, anyway, so now that who are these guys, right? Yeah.
I'm Ryan.
Ryan. Everyone's
Play
Ryan.
guitar
Yes.
until the fight.
We are here with Throw the Fight, and we're here with Ryan,
sick
Ryan,
mic
Ryan,
skills.
Ryan, and Ryan.
Ryan,
I'm the real Ryan.
He's the real Ryan.
I'm the real Ryan.
Everyone is. But no, we are here with Ryan, we're here with Alec, with Jeff, with Kade, with Kris, and with James. How's it going, guys?
Good.
it's good.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, we're really excited about this episode, and we just kind of want to talk about some cool music shit. So let's jump right into it. Guys, I hear you have something coming up, new recording dates.
We do.
Yeah.
We do.
Next month.
April.
Yeah, April. What are the dates on that? In North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, see you there.
So, okay, we gotta tell people. So, last record we did, it was in Lancaster,
Pennsylvania.
mind you.
And me and you were flying out,
James and I were flying out.
and you said to me,
Uh,
whereabouts in South Carolina is this?
yeah, where is this in South Carolina? He looks at me like, yeah, man, I'll see you there. I'm not gonna be
Yeah,
there.
because I'm going to Pennsylvania. Remember that?
Yeah. So I got
Yeah.
that memo.
Drums were taken in a different state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, we made it. It was awesome. So
we
last
almost,
time was
but do you
cool.
remember like we had to land and take off again though? Do you remember that part?
What?
Do you remember?
Oh
that?
yes.
You can tell this story. Yeah,
Tell them.
we were basically we went down and it went straight back up again. Like,
Oh
one of
yeah,
these
that scared the
crazy-
shit
They're like
out of me.
redo. Let's redo.
It
this.
sure reminded me of that horrible landing.
Yeah, it was
Touch
quick.
and go.
Yeah, it was like a tab up. Kidding, we're going back
wrong
up.
airport.
Was that when we were taking off or landing?
Landing the first time, yeah, in South
my
Carolina.
God.
That's
South
like,
Carolina.
yeah, that wigs me out.
Yeah, I don't like that or turbulence. I can't do that.
Although you know turbulence, if you're in the middle of the plane, it's the best spot to be in the plane.
Really?
Is it-
You always know random shit.
I know, but
Does
I'm
that like
the
tickle
fun
your
fact
butthole or
person.
something? Is that?
Yes, that's
Anal
exactly what it
thing.
does.
What's the theory behind that?
Well, because I got told once by a pilot.
Oh, that
when the
must be
planes-
true then.
Yeah, it's true. Hey,
This
he flies
pilot
the
once
plane,
that
he flies
I
the
worked at
plane.
FedEx and delivers packages. He told me that it was a Cessna. He's really inexperienced. Cool, good story. Good
No,
story.
but
Can he
when
give you
you're
a set
like
of
when
wings?
you're really
Yeah.
going like up and down, yes, he wins when he talks. But like when you're experiencing all that turbulence, you're not actually moving more than like 2 feet.
That makes sense.
Really?
So like the plane isn't actually moving very fast.
Yeah,
no.
you did tell me I could. Yep, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
Yeah. Something like that.
So
So
sometimes you just like.
But that's not
drop.
that far, though.
yeah, but it's like you're really only going like a foot. It's not like those
It feels
guys
like you're
not much.
plummeting to your death.
Yeah,
but you're not.
well,
Yeah.
pretty close.
Mhm.
Did you get pilot wings though? When
Don't you have a badge?
Well,
What's that?
I did as a kid.
Isn't
so
that your
I think
arm?
officially-
Isn't that a pilot like a?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, this is.
Oh, dude,
This is actually
You're
just
certified.
I'm
Says-
certified.
Ben Sherman coffee
Boy
truck.
Scouts.
Sherman.
he's certified Ben Sherman.
Boy Scouts. That's cool. Boy Scouts. He's the.
That's awesome.
I never made it to like.
He's
What
a
is
flight
the
attendant. You'd be a
Eagle
cute
Scouts,
flight
right?
attendant.
Yeah.
Weebelows?
You'd be a good flight.
I know. I
attendant.
never got that.
Yeah.
I got like the bear and the.
You
wolf
never made the
and
transition from the Girl Scouts to the Boy Scouts.
It
Okay,
didn't,
yeah.
It didn't happen. I didn't sell enough brownies. It sucked. So it was not, yeah.
Yeah. So the last back to the record.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Yeah, it was. So last time it was an awesome experience. I mean, we had a super fun time. The end product was sick, and then we
good.
just got word that we're working with the same team again.
So that's
So-
Carson and Grant, right? And
Carson and Grant,
So
yep.
that we should tell the interesting story about when we went there the
You have
first
a mic there,
time.
brother?
I'm in talking into it. Hi.
Oh, you don't have to.
I know
Use the
I'm being
spit
now
screen.
funny also at the.
Yeah, use this.
Yeah, you're hilarious.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
still.
Hey, you worry about your own spit.
Shut up. There you go.
You spit on your own mic.
Okay, you tell your story.
There is a bucket under the table that we have to empty after every
Round
episode. Round one.
But don't you remember Grant and those guys have been doing Galactic Empire, so when we were there that first time, they just
right.
recorded the
Just
first
happened.
track, which I don't know if you guys have heard it, but legit like that,
Yeah.
but sounding good in a metal form.
Yeah,
Um,
it's basically like metal Star Wars.
The
is
We
what it
story
is.
showed you
Star
this
Wars.
video.
Yeah, so they've been touring around. They're doing like some
They've
huge,
got a bunch of stuff out there now. It's
huge
Let's
stuff.
just put it this
super
way:
good.
they're doing bigger tours than bands have done in their whole lifetime, and it's cool, man. Like it was when we were in the studio with them. I mean, I didn't realize how big Star Wars like. They were really taking this serious. But then when I look down,
Also, the guy
I
who
see
thought he was from
Carson's
South
arm,
Carolina.
and he has Boba Fett tattooed on there. I'm like,
They're-
okay,
yeah,
they
they're
definitely
obsessed.
love Star Wars, And so, yeah, they were like doing it as kind of a joke thing. And
Well,
it's
that was like the
fucking
greatest
huge.
post that I ever saw, like Carson.
What's
put
that?
on the Instagram. He's like, my joke band is killing it. Or
Yeah.
something.
Every night sells out. Like they
Yeah.
did a Europe tour, I think twice now.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they just did
so-
another sold out tour.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were the full
signed.
costumes. They were just at First Ave, and totally didn't know that until after they played. But it's awesome. So anyway, they're great dudes. They make awesome music. And
They do. They obviously do August Burns Dreads. They're
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
their.
yeah,
They've done
Polaris.
last.
From Ashes to New.
Polaris
Yeah,
album.
Polaris.
Got you on those.
Good,
bands.
yeah.
They're
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
good.
Colin's a
Ridiculous.
he likes the heavy shit.
I
so.
do. I found that.
Yeah,
I
he's
know.
angsty.
There you go.
He's angsty.
He's
I,
an
can,
angry,
I look at him. I
angry
think
guy.
anger when I see him.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
He's got the edge, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like a little cat.
Yep. And yeah, so we're going in April. Should be sweet.
Yep.
So we're
2
doing
weeks, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
It's coming
3 weeks out.
Yep.
We just picked, 15 songs?
Yep.
And then Kate keeps adding to it, so that's
Kid
cool.
You're
keeps
welcome.
adding to it.
You're
Yeah.
welcome.
But,
They
yeah.
will be hits. So you're welcome.
Plan on doing 13 songs, and I dig it.
Yeah. Sounds awesome.
What's the, I guess, to let people know, because a lot of times people don't understand how music basically happens, not only in the studio, but I think every way's a little different. I mean, do any of you guys want to talk about or tell people, like, what was the process of creating, some of the new ideas?
We've done it a couple of different ways. Like traditionally, bands will tend to want to jam out song ideas in practice space and do that. But I think as we all agree, everybody kind of writes separately and comes together and pieces it together, which generally works well. Because when you're in a studio, you tend to have too many cooks in the kitchen. I think whether it be Ryan, Kris, or Kade coming up with the idea, and then we kind of sit together and pre-pro it and share it and work on it and come back, and I'll come in and do melody ideas or restructure stuff depending on what we'll all do that,
Yeah.
So that's how we've done this one, and we kind of did the same thing on the last album too.
Yeah.
It worked really well with that too. Generally, we try and go into the studio with everything kind of flushed out for the most part, which a lot of bands don't always do that.
Yeah,
But
I've heard
it's-
some weird stories. Like some bands, like one member writes everything. Which, I mean, if it works for him, whatever. If the other band guys are cool with it, sweet. But yeah, I mean, what we did, I think it works really well. It's like
Shout out to Nightfall Studios. They
yeah, Jeremy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
Jeremy's a
did
buddy
all
of
that.
ours.
Pro on this one.
Yeah, so he helped us out and
Spent a lot of time on that stuff. Sounds
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, he is gonna make everything a lot easier for when we go into the studio to do the real
Yeah, the
the
songs
prep.
are already prepared.
Pretty much done. I mean, for the
Mhm.
most part, and then Carson and Grant hear it, and they kind of tweak things like, oh, do this, maybe how about this idea, and then we kind of bounce things back and forth, and next thing you know, we're flying through the record. So
they've got the turd polish button.
yeah,
Hey, that's
polish that turd.
Yeah, so last album, it's going to be a little bit different because this time,
Don't
Going
tell them what
in.
we're doing. It's
No.
all hip hop.
going in with
Yeah.
with
Folk.
basically, for the most part, the full idea of what is the album's going to be. Solid demos for the most part, hopefully not a whole lot of changes, but what's the difference between this time going into the studio to last time going into the studio with pre-production material, I guess?
For sure.
I feel like the songs this time are more completed.
Yeah, definitely.
We did a lot of the last record in Ryan's basement and
Yep.
his like,
Spacebar.
home studio.
Yep.
Spacebar.
Spacebar.
This was a little bit. So we actually did it at Nightfall Studios, and I don't know. They're more
Which is
polished.
a
I
quality
mean, the
studio.
process.
It's not a guy's
The
basement.
process
No
is the
offense.
same,
No offense, Ryan,
but
you did a great job.
obviously we did it at a real studio for this round, so that
Yeah.
the pre-pro demos sound quite a bit better.
And I think, too, I mean, it helps, like, when James and I go out for the first ones, because we do not necessarily all go out at once, so drums always have to happen first, and then, if he's writing ideas, he does it on as we're there, and it's being developed, but the demos, the last record, let's just say, were rough, and it was hard to, play to and, kind of know the structure, but we still made it work, so I'm pretty excited because if the album, I feel, turned out amazing with what we had, these demos are 10 times better, and it's a more aggressive album for sure, which I don't know. I think it's a good direction, and we're not trying to force anything. It's not just all screaming, or anything
I
like
just
that.
think the
but
writing overall has evolved.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
we're more comfortable
Say it.
this time.
Say it.
Yeah.
What people
Chris,
say.
you're
Say it.
good.
It's
Chris's
this record
guitar
is
lessons are
more mature.
really.
My guitar lessons.
His guitar
paid off.
lessons have
Actually,
come
learned how
a
to
long
play
way.
Different string other than the one
He's
that
up to
I
4 chords right now, which is
And
really
he's actually
progressive.
moved up to the 8th and
Yeah,
10th
the
fret,
golf
which
clap.
is great.
Yeah. And he
Nice
uses
job, man.
an effects. what was it? Toggle switch. Which is.
I did.
Yeah.
I figured out the
the
toggle
toggle.
switch.
Tom.
He actually usually didn't realize that.
So
He
I-
hit it once and realized,
So
oh.
Kris just discovered Rage Against the Machine last week, and he was like, "How do you make those noises?" So we watched a YouTube video, and now we incorporated it in a
Yeah,
new
it's
song.
really
I love discovering bands that have been around forever, and then just like, oh, I just found this song. Like I'm notorious.
That's
for
like
that.
Chris's
That's-
life.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
he
yeah.
is-
See, we're gonna get lost.
Chris is
Yeah.
about 15 years behind.
I don't know that I'm that
He's,
far.
he's
No, you're
Yeah,
close.
he's-
Am I that far?
You're 12.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I have now I get to listen to so much amazing music that like
Yeah,
And
you
always-
didn't know. It was there,
He's
right?
now
So-
evolved to Hinder. That's really cool. Yeah.
Have you heard this Chili
What was
Pepper
the
band?
What was the one that you said? Oh, was it Yellow Wolf?
Yeah.
Or what was the one where he goes,
G
"Hey,
Easy.
oh, G-Eazy." He's like, dude, what'd you say
I'm,
this
I'm
rapper?
into this
I
new
don't
white
know.
rapper.
Have you heard of
G-Eazy? I'm like,
but like that's not new. Like I did that.
Hey,
with
he
a
was here for
bunch
the
of
Super
bands.
Bowl.
Like, I was
G-Eazy.
like, I just started
Right?
listening
What?
to.
He was here for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Oh,
oh
he
yeah.
was just here.
I heard
Sure, get
Snoop
out
Dogg.
of that.
Snoop Dogg, in fact, rented in Immigrant he rented a full hotel to himself.
Wow.
Nice.
Why not? You're Snoop Dogg. I mean, I would do it.
Someone rented like a lake house, right, in Minnetonka.
Someone
I'm
did.
sure a bunch of people did.
But the funny thing is, when we talked about this on the episode, we
Profound
talked about the Super
statement,
Bowl, and I
someone
think a lot
read
of
it.
it was rumor. You know, a lot of it was like made up. It was like fake news bullshit.
Yeah.
They're like, Justin Timberlake's staying here.
He was. No, I was at that place where he was staying.
Oh, well,
How were you?
Did you
Did you
see him?
see Mr.
I got,
see
I
him?
got a special invite. No,
The
I was
special
at.
invite was Colin in the bushes.
And the invite was a ticket from the police.
Yeah.
No, I was. So Jimmy Fallon, right?
So
Yeah,
me and
he
Jimmy
was
are
there
hanging
with,
out, right? Super funny. We're in the bush,
Timberlake.
and Jimmy jumps out. I'm like, "Hey, Jimmy, don't jump out!" You know. Oh,
Yeah, me and Jimmy
and,
had thrown back a couple
We're
brews.
close.
I mean,
We text. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
It's good. No, I just happened to be there for dinner. So
Yeah,
my girlfriend's parents, they had like a reservation at what is it? Like that big
Man,
hotel in
Cove.
Wayzata.
Cove?
Oh.
No, it's I'm like trying to think.
some
It's
fancy
next to
place.
Cove. It's overlooking Cove.
La Quinta?
That's Chili's.
It's
Yeah.
Chili's.
Two for ones. That's my
Applebee's
favorite.
Troopers.
No, but like you could see it. They had like the buses and like there was tons of security there, and like
Sure.
Justin Timberlake,
Yeah,
Pink
they
was
did.
there. Like they were all staying on the top
that
floor
name.
and totally rented this place out.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, it was,
Where was
just cool.
Carrie Hart? Man
Didn't they do a
crush.
show at Paisley Park too?
They did,
Yeah.
yes.
I
Oh,
thought I
really?
heard something about that too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Invite.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I
But
missed my invite.
well, jumping back
Yeah.
to music, I actually kind of want to talk and get each of your like, how does a song get conceived? I kind of want to talk about that and like.
Well,
There's a
Well,
mommy
well,
song
it's
and a
the-
daddy
It's
song.
the idea.
Here we go. I
When
should
they
use
love
that
each
word.
other.
You bring, and then the riff or the
They're on
semen
YouTube. You can show them.
Yeah.
is released, and
melody.
then
I
the
call it the
He's my
melody.
main
concept, which
crawler
is the egg,
listeners, Yeah.
is penetrated. And then there's
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just
flour,
A
I'm
flower
learning
of
so
music.
much.
and then
right
the
now.
stalk delivers it.
That's
Yep.
where the stork comes in.
It's actually really good.
That is actually pretty good.
You're welcome.
That was well
Yeah,
thought out.
Thank you. That was good.
Next question.
asked and answered. Next question, please.
That doesn't happen for everyone.
Yeah.
But
Sometimes there's two stalks that are hanging out together, and they need to figure out. No, too soon. Okay.
Too soon. But just like, yeah, I'm curious to know like each of your what you go through and like how you like, I don't know, think of a song. That's kind of like
Yeah,
cool.
let's go
I'm
down
sure
the
everyone
road.
does it
I don't want to
differently.
give that type of info away.
Type of personal info.
Chris listens to songs from about 15 years
I
ago,
listen to songs that are old.
and then he sends
Yes.
us the
No,
idea,
I
and we say,
completely
"Dude, that's
still-
already been
I
written."
send Chris a
And
song or an
you start
idea
again.
yeah,
or a band, and then he'll get obsessed with it,
and then
and he'll be like, "Oh, I was just listening to a ton of Asking Alexandria, and here's 5 songs."
Great band.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like I like to just sit and write. I'll just tinker with my guitar and just
Tinker.
Tinker. That's a great word.
Like tinker with me
I
guitar.
love
That's going in the description. Chris tinkers with his
Yeah.
guitar.
No,
There we
tinker.
go.
with your guitar. Get in
We
here.
call him the Tinkler.
Chris.
The tinkler.
We got Sprinkles and Tinkler.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like I listen to a lot of music and get inspired, and I'll just go and kind of jam some stuff out, and I usually like record it on my phone, like or videotape it.
So then you remember how to play it.
So I
That's
remember
key.
how to play it, which I didn't do for the first half of this record. So I have to go
That's a
back and
mistake.
relearn everything. But yeah, then I just sort of send it out to people, and then once we started to get into pre-production at Nightfall Studios,
Plug.
we would record, or these guys we'd go in together and then just kind of flesh out the idea. Flesh out the idea.
Flush.
Well, it's kind of it's just cool
Yeah.
how like it's like collaborative process.
Flash.
It's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, I mean, what was I thought the coolest part was like when we were listening to kind of all the main ideas once things kind of got established or developed a little bit. And like drums are like, you can do it in the studio. It's just pre-production. It's not a real drum kit, but it sounds like drums. You get the ideas across, and then we totally change stuff. But what was cool is like when we all went in and we had these like 15 plus ideas, we were all on the same page of like, yup, nope, yes, no, and so as a group, that's really cool because then you're on the right track for the sound of this record.
If we can all agree on a song, that's key.
And that's again stemming from like say Kris and Kade were the ones that really developed the majority of it, and then Ryan had like a lead part, or then James had an idea, he did his own thing here. We just it was a really easy process of like. It seems kind of chaotic at first, but then you kind of hone it in, and it ends up working out pretty good.
Well, you figure out what sounds good and what doesn't sound good, and I mean, we all have the same taste, I feel. And
pretty similar,
bands, and what sounds good, and there's songs that halfway through you're bored, and if we're bored with it, everyone else is gonna get bored. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. I keep hearing like the creative process is like washing a pig. Has anyone else heard that?
I've heard of this before.
Yeah, there's just like there's no right way to do it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good analogy. It's really cool.
Try not to overthink it.
Really
Did you grow up on a farm?
No.
Do you wash pigs?
I do actually. I volunteer.
I'm vegan.
Once in a while.
I'm vegan. I don't eat swine.
I had bacon this morning. It was glorious.
Turkey bacon or regular greasy bacon?
Regular.
Hormel?
Filled with nitrates.
No. Natural.
Natural.
No, this is okay. No,
yeah,
I've never heard that. The washing the pig deal.
I haven't heard that either.
No, it makes sense to me.
Exactly, but the creative process doesn't make any sense.
That's it.
I just try not to overthink it.
Yeah,
I think a lot of times when, or at least I've noticed when bands where they kind of fuck up is like they not only don't do what they did on their last good record, but they totally change production teams. So it's like if you had a good experience, because a huge portion of it is who's with you in the process of finalizing this record. And if you have a good relationship with them, it's kind of like what A Day to Remember did on like 4 albums. Same team, same production, they just crushed all 4. Their newest record, there's parts I like, but they went a whole different route. And you can definitely tell I'm not a huge fan of that record compared to their other 4. But, there's like change and stuff. But yeah, I'm really excited, man. I think this record's going to be sick.
Well, what you just talked about is kind of interesting. Maybe you guys can touch on like experimenting and what's good and what's bad, because music is, actually the guy, Elliot, talked about this from Bless the Fall. Like, you need to be experimenting every time to push yourself as artists.
Yeah.
Their new records.
So
maybe,
as a creative person, you should always try to push your limits and try to expand your creative...
I feel like that's a catch-22 as well, because I feel like a lot of bands have a great record and then they'll do a record to try and mix it up or bring it to the next level, and you don't do that because you kind of get rid of some of it.
Alienate.
You alienate the crowd.
To me, it's always about finding like a middle ground, just like just like that happy medium.
But then as a band, if you do the same record 3 times in a row, everybody's going to complain you never vary it enough. And then so it depends, because if you get to a certain level, I think a lot of reasons sometimes bands mix it up is to try and they do it for a reason, right? They get to the next step, which sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't.
Well, I think
Bring Me the Rights is a great example.
You grow
of
as
that,
musicians too, though. Right.
Do you?
I did. Well, I learned 3 new chords for this record.
Well, yeah.
And sometimes you don't want to.
Easy was.
Sometimes you don't want to write the same song over and over because it just gets old, and even to constantly stay heavy, it kind of gets old as well. Like, you've changed as a person, and it's like you're not always angry like Colin. So
but that's why I have a lot of angry bands, because I can go back to them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think the main thing is kind of what James was saying though. Like, if growth has to I hate when people say in interviews oh, this album's more mature. It's just I think within the first 30 seconds to a minute if this song is solid or this is going somewhere, and go with it. I think if you overthink the process, you're shooting yourself in the foot. It's like anytime you hear an artist say this, they go, I spent 2.5 years on this record. I'm like, that record's gonna suck compared to the one that you did in 2 months. And usually that's with hip hop, that's with a lot of rock bands. They take this massive hiatus. And you're like,
I think with that though, right? A lot of times, what you gotta remember is when a band has a big first album or whatever else, generally they've spent 8 years writing.
Well, you get your whole life to write your first record,
right? Then you tour for 2 years, whatever you do, and you try and then in such a short time come up with that's the trouble, right?
Totally.
And so
I think where it gets hard is when you get what you're saying is when you overthink it. I feel like a lot of the stuff for this record and even the last record was done. We didn't spend hours working on a song. I feel like if you're trying to force it,
That's exactly
It's
it, yeah.
you're just scrap that and go to something different.
So like your belief is the music kind of in a way writes itself.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like some of the stuff like you come up with, like I came up with certain parts in like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just is there and you're like,
Which
oh.
is a lot. That's a long time for you with those 3 chords.
No, I think sometimes it just strikes and
Black
it sounds good and it works.
twinkle. I got it.
Yeah.
Clang, clang, clang. Can we put some reverb on that to?
But yeah, if you're trying to force it, like if you're spending like, for us anyway,
Yeah.
like you said, everybody's creative process is different. But like if we're spending like 2 hours on like one part or one song, like that's usually not the song that's like the
Or you might
catchiest.
have an idea and you send it to somebody and they're like, no, I'm not really feeling it. Then it's cool. Let's just move
But
on.
I mean, music is subjective. So like, what someone
Yeah,
else
right.
might not like. I mean, it's the
Right.
same thing with creative writing with like a lot
Right.
of different
I feel
things.
though we kind of were our biggest fan. Like, so I can send a song to James and James can go, yeah, this is a good throw the fight song, or I can vibe this, and or he could shoot it down, and it's like, cool, that's great, because if I send it to Kris, he's probably gonna say the same thing, and Jeff, like, you know, we're kind of all on the same page with that.
I think the other thing too, no matter what type of genre, if it's really heavy metal or heavy rock, whatever,
Metalcore.
Metalcore. Well, the funny thing is, we were training yesterday. He's like, we were talking about genres. He's like, black metal, death metal, metalcore.
I want to be called
grindcore,
deathcore.
Yeah,
it's like,
I actually want to be called newcore.
do it.
New
Nah, no. You think?
New metal.
Fashion
New
metal.
I would definitely.
The new metal is now old metal.
I would
true.
definitely
Is
be
it?
a fashion core band.
Right.
Fashion
So,
core.
I think
Fashion core.
yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely
New
would.
fashion core.
New
Yeah.
fashion core.
I'm with
new
it.
fashion death.
New
Take
fashion
that.
core.
With
New
a lot
fashion
of,
core.
I think with a lot of records though, what ends up happening is people, no matter if you're like heavy or, you know, if it's country or whatever, you still need hooks. And like,
Yes.
it doesn't matter. And you know, I've actually noticed in the genre of like, you know, the Warped Tour scene, right, where a lot of these bands, they write great music.
Are you guys sad that's coming to an end, by the way?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I
been
love
a
the Warped
legendary
Tour.
tour.
Sorry, what is that?
Yeah.
Then the
So it's
the
one of
what
those
the
things,
warp
It's people, angry people like me to go, and then we can hear and let our anger out.
angry
And
hearing
you-
listening.
Yeah,
do
it's
the
sad.
mosh pit.
It's,
So yeah, I was just
Sad
saying, like, you know, when it comes to just having hooks, because you can like heavy music, like yourself, like, you know, being a fan of heavier music, but at the end of the day, people are like, that shit stuck in my head. That's
Right.
a catchy hook, and that's kind of more like, that's more what we go for. But it's funny how the Warped Tour bands that say might have that scene, like heavier style, they're now trying to write catchy hooks, because I mean, a band that literally does it extremely well is A Day to Remember. They have the heavy parts, but they have their hooks are like, holy shit. I mean,
Or
they
I
write.
Prevail.
It just comes
I
down to
Prevail.
crossover
I
potential.
Prevail, we were talking about this,
Yeah.
like, was the last episode? Yeah, the same thing. Like, their songs are catchy as hell. That's what I was
And
saying.
if you actually
Every
listen to
single
it,
song.
they're really simple. Like,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
But so then, if you look at the format, that if you break it down, besides the heavy parts of it, it's a very well written pop song.
Yeah, it
Well,
is. Yep, it
I-
is.
so-
It's a pop
so
song with
what?
heavy
What?
parts.
And
Yep.
so if you look at the recent Just podcast, news they were kind of getting into this, and they're talking about some of those 3 or 4 Warped Tour bands that have tried to cross over to radio.
Right.
Like, you've got to, then you're competing at a whole new level, and a radio song is very different from a scene kind of song, right? And so there's a fundamental hook that you've got to have with that too for it to work.
Totally.
You know? So there's a lot. You don't always see those bands cross over and do really well on that, because it's hard, unless you got like your Data Remembers or your Bring Me the Horizons that are pushing the boundary, that are almost forcing the radio stations to play them. Because
well, even asking Alexander, their new
They're
stuff
there.
is
good.
Yep.
extremely.
Well, I also think it
catchy.
gets down to the idea of like what are you trying to accomplish with what you're doing. Like for us, like everybody in here is a fan of like pop music.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Oh,
we all
yeah.
like a really good hook, but we also really like heavy music, and so like we just naturally combine the two.
Yeah, I think it's good to like stay in your lane, do your thing. You know, it's like we've had great compliments. People have said like, you guys sound like a mix of I Prevail and like Story of the Year. I'm like, that sounds awesome. Thank you. Like
Good
2 of my
comparison.
favorite
Yeah.
fucking bands.
Atreyu, 80.
Atreyu,
Yeah.
like, but a big one that I mean, I look up to because I look
Yeah,
at more
I
of
really
like
think
standing like a legacy, like the test of time is
Poison's a
Papa
great
Roach.
band.
And I know James is a big fan of them. I am a huge fan of them. It's like, those guys literally have the formula down to a science. Like 3.5-minute songs, got some heavy parts. They're not super heavy band, but their live presence is great, and they've been doing it for 15 plus years. Like, and they're still relevant. That's the whole point. Is like as music changes in cycles, they can keep.
They've been doing it over 20.
Yeah.
I played with them in 2001.
I think they're one of
when I was 10. I was very young, not aging me at all.
I think they're one of the few bands that you can probably count on like one or two hands that sold a significant amount of records before the industry kind of like took a downward spiral, you know, and people stopped buying records, you know. But
and they paved the way for I think a lot of bands our style, and mainstream a little bit too, and.
But it's interesting what you guys were just saying about like pushing music, and then you just said, Chris, right, pushing the boundaries of radio.
I think that's James. I'll take it.
Yeah, we look very much alike, clearly.
Very much alike, yes.
Take it.
They look alike.
Take the credit
So what's the question about pushing the boundaries, though?
Well, just kind of what we were talking about earlier with you guys. You said, you know, you got to stay in your own lane, but how does that relate when you want to push the boundaries of something? And like how far do you go before that's like, oh, no, that's too big of a risk, like people aren't going to dig that.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, how things are going now, too... I mean, things are changing, and it's great to be in a band because you have unlimited access to stuff, to reach people anywhere in the world. So I think a lot of times, too, like, radio's dying. You know, radio's always going to be around, but, like, Sirius radio is a little different animal than, like, your KDWBs and your standard issue radio where, you know, bands are becoming successful without radio. Like, they're doing it as a full-on career, and they're doing it bigger than if they were on the radio, and they don't need them. So now... You know, they like they said in, you know, other podcasts, people said there is no formula. You just have to, like, push it, do your thing. And it's kind of what we do here with the brand. It's like anything's going to benefit you. Like, drop a single. Don't overthink it. Let's do it. Let's do artwork. Let's do this. Let's make a new shirt. Let's make a new song. Kade wrote something. Cool. Let's do that. You know, so as long as you're doing something for the brand of the band or what you're trying to do, I think it's all
I think you
stuff.
should always try to push to every access out there, like radio. Try to push for that. You know, what gets people on with videos, Spotify. You know, try to hit all those points. You know?
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, what have you? I mean, he would know because I mean, what have you noticed? The big change I would say is like from like now currently to I guess with radio to what bands are doing. I mean, is radio typically the way to go, or are you seeing more?
Radio's still huge.
Radio's still huge. If you have a budget to put a single on radio, then, you know, it's going to get you huge exposure as long as the song and program directors are feeling the song. You know, going back to what you said about it being subjective, like you can dump a bunch of money into a single at radio, and if program directors aren't feeling it, they're not going to add it to rotation.
Bill or Barry. Barry, what do you think of my song? Sucks.
Yeah, that's what happens.
You
know?
know?
I mean,
but at the end of the day, though, if you have a $50,000 budget for a single, you're going to get a lot further than a great song without a budget. That just is what it is. So you pretend that it does rely on a good song, but then you can look at the top 10 singles sometimes on Active Rock, and you can see if you look beside it, this top 40. You can see most of his major label subset of there, and there's a reason behind it.
Commercial radio takes a significant amount of money to get your song on there. So, you know, for independent musicians, that's not typically feasible. So you have to kind of look at other areas to kind of, you know, put whatever budget you do have into that. So, you know, it's more like content, you know, maybe it's video. It's, I mean, for us, you know, like Spotify has completely overshadowed everything at this point. So, you know, people just go to streaming now, and it's, you know, it makes more sense because that is like the new radio, the up and coming radio.
Music,
you know?
Right?
The playlist.
Well, Brian, you said the other day you were like
YouTube.
Somebody buys a
YouTube.
song one time. That's $1.29 or whatever.
Right.
Where streaming now, you can listen to it over and over and over. You're constantly getting money from that.
Yeah, I think where a lot of bands and musicians get it wrong is they're always saying, well, if I put my music on Spotify or streaming platforms, then my fans aren't going to buy it, you know, and that's kind of the wrong way to look at it. Which, you know, you need to look at just getting more fans, you know, like people who are going to stream your album are going to stream it regardless, whether you tell them to get it here or not, you know. If people want to buy it, they're going to buy it because those are the fans that still buy it, you know, and still buy CDs. So instead of trying to, you know, segregate your fan base by directing them to a certain platform, bands just need to worry about just getting more fans and getting in front of more people and just kind of broadening their, you know, their awareness, basically.
Which now it's like even easier than any time.
Absolutely.
Well, with all the self-publishing stuff.
Totally.
I mean, our podcast is a really, I mean, this is an example. We can push it on iTunes and
Yeah,
Spotify.
yeah, for
Just
sure.
publish
So,
ourselves,
so I have a question.
Yeah.
Music is obviously a very political thing. It's who you know, not exactly what you know. Music or money is definitely involved in how much money you have to spend on like radio campaigns, all that kind of stuff. If as a band, if you don't have these, endless funds and everything, what is the best avenue to go about to push your music to get the most downloads, people to buy it, where you can, if you're not, have all these endless funds, how do you get that music in front of people?
What is the secret formula?
The secret formula is hand jobs.
That's why we're here.
Hand jobs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have no
No?
money,
Okay.
you have to utilize the platforms that are free. So,
I mean, we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
You can do a tour with 3 other bands that are at the same place in life as you in a band
Same level.
spectrum, right?
Right.
That too. And you could play in front of 20 people a night, right? Now, are you benefiting yourself? Are you moving the needle doing that on 20 dates in a row? And you look at the total on that, say 800 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it worth investing in yourself, doing another single, doing a video, and you self-promoting, and what's going to move more? There's a balance on that,
Mm-hmm.
but
What's the
you
bigger
you
reach?
don't want to go on the road for 20 days and lose money.
Yeah.
So being more strategic in what you're doing.
Yeah,
too,
people don't
right?
realize
We've
that
over
too.
the years we've done plenty of the
Yeah,
crap
yeah.
tours that
Yeah.
that can break bands up.
Sure.
And I think a lot of times people don't understand the playing the music part's is actually the easiest and
Yeah, no,
the most
yeah.
effortless.
Mhm.
It's everything else leading to us hitting the stage for 30 to 40 minutes. So it's driving there, the gas, food, lodging, what are we doing? You know what I mean? So
And I was
there's
because you all have jobs that you work
Mhm.
aside from this to essentially help fund this, and
Yep.
you have to take breaks from that when you actually go on tour and do this.
Sure,
So it's a double whammy in a way.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah. I mean, eventually it's nice to get to the point where it's possible that you can, and there is money to be made in anything. Like you can do it in the music industry, but it's a lot of things in life. It's oversaturated, but how do you kind of stand the test of time? And as things change, you still stay relevant. So
That's a double-edged sword, though. That idea of like oversaturation, but it's easier now to
Yeah,
get
it's
your
crazy,
music
isn't it?
out to everybody.
yeah,
So but at the same time, like you're one of like
Yeah.
how many? So
But if
what
you
do
remember, so you
stand
go
out?
back 15 years ago, whatever else, to where the major labels or labels in general had a lot more money because people were buying product, right?
Right.
Which gave the support to the bands, but it also restricted the number of bands out there because there wasn't all the social media platforms that anybody can
Yeah.
do anything.
Now
right?
everybody's in a band.
Right. So before it was
everyone's
easy.
a model
Yeah.
like him.
I'm at 4.
He's a hand model.
Yeah.
I'm a
He's in
hand
the
model.
band.
He's a-
Catfish
Alex is
coming
our
out
official
2019.
hand model.
Going back to Alex's question though about like what if you don't have a huge budget, like what should you be focusing on? Like I've always liked to take like a holistic approach between like your internet marketing and playing live because
We're
is it
good.
dead?
Nope, we're good.
Internet marketing
Hey,
and
that
playing
one,
live.
you lasted a long time on that.
That was
I'm
our-
actually
you
going to
can-
watch this one too, so I just want to say hi to myself. All right.
You can do all the social media in the world and that's great, but playing live is still the best way to
Got it.
like build a
Yeah.
connection
Yeah.
with people because
Yes.
when you can talk to people and you can get in front of their faces in a real room together, that's what turns those people into
Right.
fans for life.
Yeah.
So you
We're attached
still
to
got
that,
to be
yeah.
playing live, but you do want to be smart about it. You know, like James saying, you don't want to go do stuff just to do it, because we've definitely been there and done that, and I feel like all bands do that at some point.
Sure.
So for us, just because we've been around for so long, it's more about like being smart about it these days. But playing live is, if you're a live band, it's still going to be one of the best ways to connect with a fan base. So you kind of gotta do that and
proves
have a
your
plan. It
worth.
really just comes down to like having a plan. Most bands are just like putting music out there and they'll say, just because it's out there doesn't mean people are going to find it. You got to have a marketing plan. You got to, have goals that you stick to and kind of can
Well, you
see
gotta
a
have a business
trajectory
plan,
happen.
'cause it's a
Yeah,
business.
more or less. Yeah. And you just got to keep grinding at it.
Yeah, the
it's
one-
not an overnight thing.
That
for
is
anybody.
the one amazing thing about music is like no matter what happens, is what Ryan said, is that people still go to shows and they always will till the end of time, until we talked about hologram joking, but in all actuality that's like the one thing that can save your band, is that, and people still go to shows, man. Like,
Well, they want to meet you.
yeah, and the thing is,
Yeah.
like, I feel there's a lot of bands out there where I'm like, oh my gosh, this record is so sick. I go see the band, I'm like, that is the worst band I've seen in my life. where they can't translate what the record is behind the magic board or the turd polishing button, you know, to when you go out, like, do you see, like, this band's into it? You know, like, there's certain bands I've seen, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. Like, they just went up, banged out 5 songs, and they were just so into it for that 30-minute window that everyone was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, but then you're going to go see them the next time.
Right,
Yeah,
the energy
Every
of a
time they're
live
in
show.
town, you're going to go see them.
And
Yeah.
your friends are, because like you guys
Yeah.
were saying, like that personal connection, word of mouth,
friend.
is
Right.
huge. Like, have you heard this band?
Yeah,
That's
man.
how you get fans.
Well, like when we went, and it's hard too because I'm not, you know, you don't necessarily know the person or remember them. Like, you're like, oh, you know, I've seen you, but when we were in Canada, we just toured with All That Remains, and Canada was awesome. Besides everything breaking down on the way to the venues,
And
but
being cold.
yeah, and being cold as shit. But there was a guy there who like saw me. He's like, Jeff, what's up? And I'm like, hey, hi. And he
Craig?
goes, Bill. And then he goes, check it out. Busts out his phone. It was a photo, I think, of you and me from 4 years prior
that's cool.
at the Bullet for my Valentine tour, because we'd only been to Canada twice now, and it was a photo of us, and he's like, dude, this is so awesome. He's like, I've been waiting 4 years, and it's like,
So
I heard
cool.
that like 2 or 3 or 4 times,
Yeah.
and it's like, dude, that's like, sometimes like you got to put it in perspective yourself. Sometimes you think people don't care, but they fucking care, and it's
That's
like,
gotta make it worth it. Just like
Yeah,
those
absolutely.
moments,
Yeah.
like the random.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
mind
And it
blowing.
is,
It's
man.
so
It's
worth
so
it.
Yeah,
cool.
so I was
Humbling.
gonna ask. So you guys have been doing this for such a long time, and usually a lot of bands don't stick around this long.
How long
And-
have you guys been a band, by the way?
15
is
years.
it
Tell
15
you.
total?
Top
Yeah.
secret, we'll
Top
date
secret
ourselves.
information. I'm gonna go on Google.
So and obviously you guys have families, loved ones. So when you're out on the road, you leave them behind. What are some of those huge things that keep you going? Because any day you could just be like, you know what, this isn't worth it. We're call her quits, because multiple bands do that. What are some of those things that are just like, you know what?
Well, it could
It's
be
worth
different for everybody here. I mean, I'll speak on my behalf, then you guys can like fill in. But I think like for me, it's not a question of like, are you good enough? You know, because you had those moments too, like, oh, is the band good enough? You know, you second guess. I'm like, nah, we're fine. And it's just I feel that we've had a lot of member switches. You know, like it's part of being in a band. It's like, you know, James, I wasn't the original drummer. The only original member was Ryan since the beginning. And so,
Aren't you all around?
yes.
Yeah, everybody.
Good.
Good point.
Yes.
You're right.
But then James, I mean, there was a singer pre-James. James did mainly he was the singer.
I mean,
for
I
the
tried
show.
out years ago.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
been trying to get
I
Kade
did.
in the band for a good decade.
But I tried out.
Yeah, but we didn't want to
I
neglect
tried
his
out
Finally wore him down
22,
enough.
And Ryan,
Yeah.
and Ryan wasn't having it.
Yeah.
It
real?
wasn't me. It wasn't me. It's too punk
I
rock.
didn't
Yeah,
know
it was too
that.
punk
You didn't know
rock.
that?
Yeah.
Shut the
Yeah.
fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
but then
I
he was
first
supposed.
moved
But then he
here-
was invited to join the
was so
band and
pretty.
turned us down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
payback's a bitch.
Yeah.
Now
Which
we're all
worked out
stuck
just
together.
fine for us anyway.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, so you know, everyone kind of changes roles, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you know it's like, you know, this group, these 5 guys, it's like, okay, this should have been the band, you know, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. But I always look at the positive. It is what it is. At least we're writing good shit now. And I don't know, man. I think like if you're doing it like in our situation too, with what we have as a group, you know, now looking at the positive, we're, you know, able to do what we want. You know, we're independent. We're kind of going our own lane and, you know, writing new music. And it's refreshing to go, we have no ties. You know, it's up to us to kind of do it. And then see what happens. See what networking and doors open. Hopefully a lot of people like the new record. You know, you got to be a fan of your own band. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh, if you aren't a fan,
I'm
then
super proud of
huge
what
fan,
we've
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
And honestly, I'm really proud of what we've done. And I think we have a lot ahead of us in a good way. I mean, we've been through it all, man. We've been through the worst shit. And like at this point, I'm like not even phased anymore in a good way.
I
I'm
mean,
saying
there's
this in a
even
positive.
successful bands that are still going through the shit.
Oh
It's
my gosh,
music
all the
industry.
time.
It's
Yeah.
tough.
So I think
Making art is tough.
Yeah.
I think, but like to answer your question is like, if you don't like, the reason you keep going is because you have that still have that burning desire to do the next thing, right?
Yeah.
You still,
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
I think that's always been an underlying thing for us that we wouldn't have bothered. We could have 10 times could have given up on it. I think we, as Jeff said, we've played some big shows and know we can hang.
Massive
I
shit,
just feel
yeah.
like probably never quite had the correct opportunities.
Well,
We've been given plenty.
I
We've
also
been given
agree.
plenty, but I'm just saying at the same time we know what we can do.
Yeah.
So I feel like
Yeah.
part of that
There's
desire
like confidence.
So
and-
there's
but
a
part of
drive.
the desire comes from the fact that we still haven't got where we need to be yet.
It's in a way, in a positive, like what James is saying, it's
drug.
almost like you're proving, Like you want to do like the kind of I told you so to like people that didn't believe, like people who thought like my clothing line was stupid. It's like, well, fuck you. Like I don't care. Like it's still gonna happen. You know what I mean? Or like Chris's beard oil company.
Oh, yeah. Which is actually just coconut oil.
I'm launching out 2018.
I still don't know how you can use semen as beard oil and put it and sell that.
Yeah. By the way, here's a fresh.
He's been very tired. Have you noticed how tired he's been on stage lately?
Easy.
No, and
Guys, I've got 5 shipments going out.
It's one of those things that's super cool. Is I met all of you guys a little over 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Truth. Fake news.
Truth.
And it was the first time that I met you guys was at Halfway Jam.
Yep.
And
seriously?
Yeah. Not you, obviously.
No, I know, but I didn't know that was the first time.
But this was the first
Should've
time
seen the
I
jam.
actually met all you guys. And before I met you guys, this was not the style of music I listened to at all.
Yeah.
And so going into it, I really had no idea what to expect. And so I met you guys, and then we hung out all day, and then you guys played your set, and it's something that I won't ever forget is watching you guys perform for the first time.
Give me some tissues.
But it was...
This is why we play music.
It was so apparent that you guys fucking loved
each other
every second you were on stage.
Well, that's...
And it was... And you go to shows and you see bands play and you see them and you're just like...
They don't
care.
Yep.
But you guys were up there and it was... I think your guys' set was at 10:30 at night or whatever. We'd been sitting out in the sun all day long, and then you go up there for... I think it was like a 35-40 minute set and just fucking crushed it. And I'm sitting there like...
75?
Yeah,
No, that was
we played for like an hour.
Yeah.
My bad.
And that was like...
He wasn't watching our band.
I was like...
He's talking about someone else.
Yeah. But I was like, oh... It was like a holy shit moment. Like, holy shit, these guys fucking love what they're doing.
Yeah, see.
And now I've seen you guys. Obviously, I'm with you guys at every show and everything. But it's one of those things where I know your set. I know all the songs. I know all your little fucking movements that you're gonna do and everything. But no matter,
I have a picture of him on his phone.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh my god.
No, but it's one of those things where no matter what, no matter how many times I've seen you, every single time I watch, it's so fucking fun. It's so fun to watch.
Going back to what you were saying, like what keeps you going. I think there is amount of that drive that like you just want to prove something, you want to do what you can do. But like for me, it's fun. Like I love hanging out with these guys, and I have not laughed harder than when we go on tour together. Like we just have fun.
Yeah,
we make the best out of shit situations. Like
that's a good example. We're in an elevator.
We got trapped. We have another story.
I think I heard part of
Tell the story.
Never stay at the fucking Super 8 in Memphis, Tennessee.
Fuck those guys.
in the elevator.
You know what? I didn't get our fucking money back, and I put a call in, several calls in.
Says the guy stuck in the elevator.
Like
that's checked into the hotel room having a fucking bed.
Well, I don't blame him because we were so
Super 8 are putting you on
he
blast.
wasn't with us.
But the point is that like in any situation, whether it be when we're in Memphis stuck in an elevator for 45 minutes, or like broken down. So we broke down on the side of the road in Canada. It was like -14. We had no heat. Like
people were going to start eating
and
each
we
other.
were joking with who we were going to
real
eat
life.
first. Like you just make the best of a shitty
decided not to be
situation.
a
But then a good
hilarious.
friend of ours became our friend.
Yeah.
Matt.
Knocked on the door and said, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, broke it down on the side of the
not to
road.
die.
What are you doing? I'm looking for something in my vehicle.
Shout out to Matt.
Allegedly.
And then he helped fix it, followed us to the next
random stranger. He helped
And
us
then
out, man.
he follows all the way to Toronto.
Yeah.
Super awesome.
and brought some of his grandma's cooking.
Chicken curry.
That's what keeps you going.
Yeah, and like that's the stuff you're gonna remember when everything is
The
all said
one-
and done, not the shows, like those moments, which is like that's cool.
The one thing is too is I feel like, and it kind of correlates with anything you do, is that I think what James back what he was saying was like we've been given opportunities, but not the opportunity that we're going for. And I feel like it's building a team around, do they believe, getting the right people to go, yeah, these guys got it, or again, it's a subjective thing, but you have to have that team behind you to really push it, and that's what we need at this point. And I feel we've fallen short in that category in a lot of avenues in the past, and we just haven't had the proper support to push us to that level. So we're on our own now, and we're gonna fucking hammer this record out and make the best of it. It's gonna be awesome. Like, it's all good vibes going forward. So I mean,
It's the best position we could be in
right
as
now.
As any artist. I mean, I feel.
What are you most excited about with this new record you're gonna go record?
I'm excited to see just like what happens at the moment. That's like always the most fun for me. Just the stuff that kind of like comes together on a whim. You know, like as you're kind of working the stuff out on the spot. It's like you play a riff or a pattern or something like that, and it's like, oh. Everyone, you see, look around and everyone's like, "Oh, that's it," you know, like, that's super fun. You know,
it's just really cool. I mean, the recording process is okay; it's fun, but it's the as it drives on. But then when you hear that final product, you're like, "Holy shit!" Like it went from the demo to this, and
that's why we hire producers in the first place.
I mean, the whole process
Yeah.
of that is just awesome. Just creating and seeing the outcome.
I'm most excited to sleep next to Kade for like 14 days.
Yeah,
and sing one of his songs to him every night and every morning.
You're gonna have to
sleep in the control room.
What's Ryan most excited about?
Alley Cats.
Alley Cats.
Can we talk about that?
It's a good bar.
It is
Yeah.
a
It's a great bar.
And it's within walking distance.
It's in walking distance.
It better be open. I should look that up.
Shout out to
Google that.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
It's actually a cool town.
Yes,
super
it is
cool.
the biggest Amish community in the United States.
Yeah.
Breakfast place.
Oh, I can't wait.
What if we
what's
go
the
back
next
and
one?
everything shut down?
I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah,
I'm gonna rethink the whole thing.
Yeah, right. But it's gonna be good, man. I'm really excited.
I mean, honestly, too, it's a vacation with your best friends. Like, it's a dude's trip. Like, you get away.
Yeah.
You get to hang out.
It was kind of like what the guys in Blessed Falls said, though. It's like a rebirth. Like, I feel like this is going to be a whole new look, new vibe of the record. Just like, it's like, not fresh start, but you just like, I don't know. It is, I guess,
Well,
a
it
fresh
just always
start.
feels good coming out with new material
Yeah.
and, and then getting out in front of people and playing all these songs and, gaining new fans, keeping the old ones happy. And
How long has it been since I last record? 2 years now?
2 years.
It's been 2, so yeah, this
dropped a
one's...
couple singles, but
Yeah.
We've been building this for like the last few months, like we've really focused it on, I'd say like in the last 4 months.
Yeah.
And like so you're like really and you just all of the hard work that you put into it, all the time that you spend in the studio together,
I feel like I haven't worked hard
hashing
enough.
out parts.
Chris is talking about personally.
But like
Not you, Kate.
you get to like it comes to fruition. You get that final product
Yeah.
of like,
Yeah.
oh wow.
I can relate to that just in like creative writing.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
It's like there, and then when you get to like show it to people, like there's that moment where like you start to do it in the studio, and it's like, oh shit, this is awesome.
Dude, I remember
and then when you get to release it,
Next.
I remember when I got the demo, or the final, well, we get the album before the actual album's press and whatnot, and I remember getting in Dropbox, and I fucking just cranked that
we
full
listened
tone my
to it
car. I was
constantly.
literally going, "Oh my god, this record's so sick!" And it's just, yeah, man, it's a good feeling. So, and I don't know, I think it does. It's a lot of hard work, but at the end of the day, I feel what you're providing people is something that's pretty cool. Just like if it's one dude or 50 people, like. That guy with his cell phone, like 4 years. It's like, holy shit, man.
well,
that's
one guy
so
was
cool.
10 years.
10
it's
years.
so cool.
Yeah.
10 years is
Yeah.
Well, you
That's
see them
cool.
with like the old merch shirts, like from way back, and they're still wearing it.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Or,
It also
I drove
goes to
4
show that they
hours
probably need to buy a
see
new
it.
t-shirt.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Throwify.com.
dedication. We do have some new stuff.
Yeah,
Throwify.com.
Yeah, thanks for supporting us.
Also, too, one of the other things we didn't really discuss, but on tours, when you meet other artists and crews, they're some of the coolest fucking people in the world. And so you kind of
just
keep
gain
in touch now with
friendships.
social media. Yeah, you can just become friends with these people, and the merch guy that's with the band, you hit him up, hey man, what's up, and you just keep in touch with these people. It's all networking, and so you meet some of the coolest people actually behind the scenes.
Super fun.
Well, I think with that too is because it's a niche thing, right? And unless you're doing it, you don't understand what that is, that lifestyle, right?
You have a traveling world.
Yeah,
Like,
and nothing
that
else
it's
really,
in a
like you're in
bubble.
your own world. Like
Yeah.
you kind of get lost
You
in it. So
forget.
every day is a Saturday basically. You lose track, and there's something
Sure.
wonderful about that. You don't have to conform to
Yeah.
your standard day, right? It doesn't matter.
The 9 to 5, yeah, like a typical job day.
So
So
that's one of the best. I love forgetting what
love
day
that.
it is.
for sure. Yeah, it's cool. So
I'm actually curious to talk about because we just had Frankie from
Yep.
Rockabilia
Yep.
episode.
Great
And Ryan-
episode, by the way.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. And then Ryan, you were talking about business plans, so I'm curious what your take is on like merchandise and being the business plan, and like someone like Frankie who does
Right.
that. Can we just like maybe connect those real quick?
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Sure. I mean, business plan, like, we don't actually have, like, a formal business plan,
Don't
but it's
tell
just...
'em.
I
It's
mean-
all up here.
Yeah, true. I mean, going back to what
Goodness.
Jeff was saying, it's more about just, like, keeping the train rolling and putting stuff out there and keeping stuff fresh and music and everything. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
I
you
mean,
know?
I think like a lot of times though it's things are content driven. So, like I said, if it's anything to benefit the cause of what the group is doing, something as simple as a photo shoot, it's gonna change something because people get intrigued. Like, whoa, what's this look? What's this new graphic? And you just show them a little snippet. Next thing you know, here's a new shirt. Here's a new single we're teasing.
Yeah, it's
You know,
constantly building.
It's like
hype.
you like to say a tasty treat.
A tasty
Tasty
little
treat.
treat. Just leave it out there
Tasty
for them.
treat.
Yeah, I mean, because as a fan too, you have to look at it from the consumer point of view. Like, this is with anything. Like, if I'm into a band and I'm seeing nothing on social media, I'm done with it. I'm over it. Like, I want to constantly see like, what's he doing in his day? What is? Oh, they're in the studio. They're in the booth. Oh, sick. Like, what's he singing? Oh, can't hear the song. Like, it's the same thing with rappers. Like, a lot of these rappers too, they've got it dialed in.
Yeah.
Like, Dave East is a huge New York rapper. He was like, before he dropped a single, he was in the studio doing it, chopped it up 30-second clip, and everyone's like, what fucking track is that? 2 weeks later, he dropped it and just blew up on the charts because he was like
Content.
It's free. It's
about
content.
content.
You know?
So, but then that's-
People have
that's-
short attention spans. They want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you're not,
You talk about that
if you're
all
not
the
posting-
time, yes.
If you're not posting
Yeah.
stuff,
5 seconds.
people are gonna forget about you. I just watched a short documentary on G-Eazy.
And you forgot who it is
I watched
already?
that. I watched that.
I just want you to talk
And it
about
was
I don't know who it is, but
I'll find that.
Yeah.
How many times are we plugging G-Eazy?
Chris
on
will
this
watch it
episode?
15
Well,
years
the
from now.
interesting thing, you can tell your story, but he is a perfect example of, if you watch it,
Phenomenal.
he went, like, he's on the street corner, like, here's my hard copy, old school style. The way he blew up or is successful now with a major label and full distribution and a team
Yeah.
is YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah.
He made all of his money via YouTube, and he's like,
Yeah.
fuck it, no one cares about me. I'm going to make videos, and he just hammered that
Yeah.
door down.
And now he's just
3 million,
nonstop.
10 million, yeah. And then RCA or a major label came to him and said, we need you.
yeah. And
So he
he's sold
created the demand,
he's-
right?
3 platinum albums now.
Yeah.
But I mean, and like he says, he's like trying to make it in the music business is pretty much impossible. But he spins that too, and it's just like, you have to constantly be in front of people, like, and if you don't, if it's a week, they forget about you. Like, you're done, like, tapped out.
And his source was YouTube. He's like, if I didn't have YouTube, I wouldn't be here today. And that's true, because like he was like, what's working? Like, how can I get as many people to look at me as possible? And that was his avenue.
So the reason,
Like
sorry,
you
we're
said
doing
before.
the reason we're doing 13 tracks on this next album
Oh,
is
yeah.
to put 10 on and have 3 to release further on down the line, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And that's the whole reason that which coincides with that. That's what we're doing there.
Yeah. So I mean, Lucky 13. Ew.
Oh,
Ew.
13.
Ah,
Maybe we should call- maybe we should call
Now
the
he's
album
jumping on our
13.
side. It is the lucky.
Yeah,
Maybe we need to call the
yeah.
album 13.
Yeah.
Put 10 tracks on it.
Well,
sounds
we
like-
should.
But I mean, I think, yeah, like what James is saying, it's awesome because then you drop the record, you put 10 songs on it, and it's like, hey, we got a couple more, and people don't know when they're going to come out, what we're going to package with it, maybe it's certain items for just, a certain demographic or certain people that have been huge fans of the band for a long time. It's like, we can do whatever we want.
Right. And I think
So-
with even the connection now with Nightfall, and we can constantly record songs and, drop them
Tasty
even after
treats.
Tasty treats.
even
We're not
after the
called songs
album
anymore.
or whatever. We can do
Can we drop
acoustic
them like a
stuff.
song?
We can do remixes.
Yeah. Acoustic EP,
Yeah, we can
cover
do,
song EP.
yeah.
Remixes.
Yeah.
The sky's the
Sky's
limit.
the limit.
And that's
Wow,
kind
what
of
you guys
the
produce that?
angle we're going to go, and we're going to kind of see where it goes. We're excited, man. 2018, 2019, keep it rolling. And
Whatever
go
year
from
it
there.
is.
What state are we in?
Whatever
South Carolina?
it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to South Carolina.
So,
What's your opinion on, I guess, like doing covers for other band? Like
I love
I'm
covers.
curious.
I
Yeah.
think
fun.
covers are the best way to like reach a new audience and get people on your radar. Like
sure.
if that's it, they should be absolutely part of your plan for independent bands. Our last night, they kill it.
I was
at
thinking,
that
that's
game.
what I was thinking of.
I
yeah.
mean, we've only done 2 at this point, but those 2 are some of our, 2 of our biggest songs, on Spotify and YouTube. I mean, people will upload those. They're not even our videos; they're other fan videos, and they've got 500,000, plays on them because it's a cover. Because people are just coming across it organically because they're looking for the original song,
Right.
and saying,
parties
"Hey,
benefit.
who the hell is
Yeah.
this?" You know, so
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a win-win for everybody across
Yeah.
the board. There, unless you know, there's the pop goes punk, pop goes metal. They have all those volumes by Fearless Records puts them out, and there's some awesome covers and there's some horrible covers on there. But you know, I think if you do it right, I mean, both parties are gonna win.
I think everyone loves
A
hearing a
good
different rendition.
For sure,
I mean, look
yeah.
at the This Wild Life doing the Post Malone song.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Killed it.
That's just with an
they're just
acoustic
fun
guitar.
to do, you know. Apart
do
from
it
like
with
having
Horizon
having
too.
people discover you, they're just fun to do. You know, I like it when we do pop songs. I like taking a pop song and turning it into a hard rock song. I mean, that's super fun. You know,
Like the Star Wars remix you were just talking about at the
Yeah.
beginning of the
Mhm.
episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool, like, because, James, I think this was you talking about it. It's interesting, like, when you actually deconstruct a song, just, like, nerding out, because it's like, it becomes a new song, which is, like,
Yeah.
weird. So you're making something out of something that existed, which is just cool from a creative standpoint.
But there's also familiarity there with, you know, a hit song, like a pop song. One of the, like, even classics. Like, I think talking about, like, the attention span of, like, you know, you have to have new content today. I think it's a lot harder to have a timeless song now than it was, say, you know.
Sure.
So being able to take a timeless song and put your spin on it, like the Died in Your Arms cover, like, that's a classic song. Everybody knows that song.
They know the
unless you were
chorus
born
at
in the
least.
last 20 years, but you know,
Right.
that's a different story.
Yeah, and he did really well for us, and we did a newer one, and
Still
then
does.
we're putting out putting some feelers out there for some new stuff, and it's kind of hard. I mean, a lot of bands like they're bankrolling on that, like as their like golden ticket. I don't know. I think as long as you're doing something that a lot of bands haven't already covered. You know, a lot of times too, 5 bands have covered that song. It's kind of like, there's a lot of music out there. You know, try to pick something else, but I guess if your version's way better than everyone else's, then sure.
Well, kind of continuing off of that, like, personally for each of you, I'm curious, like, who influences you the most? Like, which bands?
Nice.
Danny.
I don't know. I'm all over the board though, you know, which I think is good because I try not to just listen to the same genre, you know. So like, I will go from.
You like Sam Smith or whatever.
I love Sam Smith.
Yeah.
Super
I'll
good.
go to. I actually been jamming a lot of Post Malone lately. I've been vibing that, but also I will
You're
dial in
some
some
hits.
country. I mean, I don't know. I'm all across the board, but then I will, you know, I'll listen to my Bring Me Horizons or whatever else too. But I try to explore new stuff. I've been trying more to explore more stuff more recently.
So I would look at your Apple Music and, like, not.
You'd have a
know what to
weird. If
feel.
you look at
I
my
would
if
just,
you look at
like,
my Spotify right now, I can pull it up. I
Bring
should
it
pull it
up.
up and show you what it. Yeah.
You should.
Yeah,
While he's doing that,
I mean,
what's-
I'm
what
gonna-
are
I'm
you
the same. Like I love one of my favorite bands is Lucero from Memphis, Tennessee. I love City and Color, but then I also I listen to Bring Me the Horizon. Every Time I Die is one of my favorite bands. You know,
Yeah, they are.
just
Here's mine.
All
Right,
across
here's
the
mine
board.
right here. I got Sam Smith. I've got Matchbox 20. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, I remember those guys. But then I've got Turnstile.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
Listen to Turnstile.
Yeah, they're
Heavy.
really good. Yep.
Jasta. I listened to Jasta. I listened to the original Korn album the other day.
Oh,
Awesome.
that's a good one.
That's why he did that vocal cut.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got Red Sun Rising.
I love it how you're all checking your history now. Like, what do I?
Yeah.
I always go back to Story of the Year. Like Story of the Year is
Story of the
like
Year.
my favorite band, and
I think that's a good example of a band right there that they blew up off Until the Day I Die off one song, but that band is just they should be way bigger than they are.
See,
Fucking
also
nuts,
I've
bro.
got Judas Priest.
Oh man.
I've got Phil Collins.
There you go.
Five
Yeah.
Finger Death Punch.
I've got. Let's see.
Post
I've got
Malone.
Bless the Fall, 30 Second Smarts,
Who just
Gaslight.
released a new album yesterday. Got to plug
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's very
super
good.
sick.
Congrats,
I've
guys.
got
That's awesome.
You got-
Panic.
Panic's so
Neil
good.
Young. I
Oh,
just
Neil
listened
Young's
to.
good.
This band called
This is new
Fever
stuff.
333.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like?
That's
it?
okay.
I
like
liked it.
It's kind of like
Um,
it's angsty.
I've got a Mendez, and then I got NF. He's super
NF's
good.
so good.
So good.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, I guess from a
Broad.
drumming perspective, I listen to a lot of hip hop. I love rap stuff, like good stuff. Not a lot of this trap rap garbage that, you know, every single.
Lil Peep.
Lil Rest in peace.
Yellow Wolf.
Yeah,
Yellow Wolf
done.
song is really good on Fever
I know, I heard it
333.
today. It was really good.
It is good.
Uh,
I'm getting it
but-
back.
I know. I love
Sure,
Yellow
Yellow
Wolf.
Wolf.
Cancel,
I can't-
Yellow Wolf walked on stage and sang like 30 seconds to a show here.
I'm so
And
bitter.
threw his mic down and was like, just left.
Yep.
And
still
now
mad.
Jeff hates him.
Yep.
Jeff's
Because he played in a
He
band. I was
had,
like, we would never
he had
do
a
that.
terminal illness and then turned out and
Dude,
played the next
how
night
funny is
somewhere.
that? He was rushed to the hospital.
I remember my first beer, yeah.
Did he really?
No,
terminal
well,
illness
that's
means
what
he's
he said.
dead.
Yeah.
Like that means he's dying. Next night he did a sold out show in Iowa.
Yeah.
But they're like, he has a terminal illness. Listen to the podcast, it's on there. Anyway, yeah. So I just like for me, it's a lot of hip hop. I do a lot of rock stuff. I love choruses, man. I like catchy hooks. So James Arthur, though, like amazing singer.
Yeah,
He gives all the feels.
Have you just started getting that? Because that was James Arthur you sent us the other day.
Yeah.
Because you must. I thought you.
Don't. That's the.
I know, but that ain't happening though. So don't worry about it.
You don't like that song?
I like the song. I don't think it.
Oh, dude, really?
Don't.
Yeah, don't tell him. But anyways, it's I mean, and stuff like that where who was the guy I sent you yesterday? He's from, of course, he's not from the States. He's from England, but he's was on
Of course.
Sean.
No, it was.
I tell you what, I was
So the guy-
listening to Callum Scott. Listen to Callum
That's
Scott.
that's him.
Yeah,
That's the
do
guy.
that.
So I saw him. I found
Who'd you
him,
send
and
me that
I
one
hate.
day?
Did you watch the audition though?
Yeah, the audition's amazing.
Dude,
So
amazing.
Corey Wells
he
was
was
really
like in the military or something, and he did like it said on there. It said what his thing was.
Wrong.
And
Wrong.
he
I'm part of the fan club.
sang with his sister's a singer, and then he went on and did the British version of
The Voice.
The Voice.
Nope,
Yeah.
no, wrong again. Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Britain's Got Talent.
You keep
And,
telling up, I'll keep correcting.
Dude, his vocals, it's like, holy shit. And I listen to his record, and it's cool. Like, it's good.
I mean, I don't think it quite translates
Yeah,
as good as
it's
that.
not
but
the same, but his audition was unreal. He's a very talented dude, and now he's doing it full time. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's like music. I'm a big punk rock guy too. So like, I grew up. We did a record with the singer Goldfinger. Like,
So you're saying you like all the music?
No, I just like hip hop and punk rock are kind of my go-tos. And especially beats wise, like when it comes to drumming, I really like. That's why hip hop is so influenced. It's drum tones and different stuff like that. It's awesome.
Sure,
I love that. Because there's certain records, like literally, I hear the drums and I go, "Oh my gosh, that's
Like you were just
horrible."
talking about the new Bless the Fall one. And hearing
Phenomenal.
drums.
The
Yeah.
drums sound
Yeah.
so huge on that.
what
And-
what drums do you play? You know,
he plays DW,
Does
but
he?
yeah, but the tone that they use, which it's more of a production side of stuff,
Yeah.
but Carson and Grant, the guys we work with, that's one of their big things is the drum tone sounds so massive on their records, and I appreciate that. Like the kick and snare drum just sounds awesome. So
Was that a D-Dub kit you played on?
yeah, Grant's kit's
The-
phenomenal. That's amazing kits. It's awesome. So, but so that's my go-to. Alec, Ryan, you want to fill them in?
Alec, what are your go-tos? I haven't heard this yet.
My go-tos.
Blink 182.
I want to say Spotify. That's a key.
That's Spotify.
Then you know what he's listening
Yeah.
to.
I don't own Spotify.
Oh.
You don't need to own it. You can download it. It's called
What did you
downloading
You
an app.
download it? Illegally.
You don't
kind
need
of
to
funny.
own it. You can download it.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to like 70s and 80s because I remember growing up, my dad had a weight room in our basement. We'd go down there and he just had boxes of records, and every single day me and my brother would put a new record on. So I grew up on like Boston Queen, Def Leppard, all those guys. So that was huge. And yeah, now who am I love Blink 182.
One OK Rock.
One OK Rock's awesome.
They're in some songs.
Knuckle Puck's my jam.
Oh yeah, I've been listening to a lot of
They
that.
got
Do I need to listen to Knuckle Buck?
They're sick. They're a pop punk.
They're
you know.
great for working out.
Yeah, the vocals are good.
I'd say Amity Affliction's probably one of my favorite bands.
I love them. They're good.
Yeah, they got it figured out.
Yeah. I do. The thing about Amity is, they go hard, and then those choruses and everything.
There's some
I
deep.
Kill the Prom Queen. You listen to that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Who?
very, very.
I Kill the Prom Queen.
Like I
I
love
like them a lot.
I love
Started
the
listening to them.
lyrics
Oh,
that
they're totally
Amity
my new
writes.
They're my new band.
Yeah, the lyrics that Amity writes are just.
Chris
Well,
has got
they're real.
Chris has got a new band, so
So
look out for the
yeah.
4 new songs he writes. It sounds just like the other band.
So, yeah, I'd say
That's
what
what the next. That's the next album. Next
What
album.
is your go-to?
Well, yeah, story of the year, like I was saying before, but then like Thrice, I always go back to like early Thrice, like Artists in the Ambulance and anything before that. Beartooth, most recently.
Beartooth is great.
I really like.
Yeah.
I really like Dead. They're super throwback, like new metal.
Gives- yeah, it
but
gives me that,
it's
like-
awesome.
Like
it's-
corn,
yeah,
early rootsy
totally.
corn parts to
They're
it,
like
but with a modern. rebranded, like,
rebranding
yeah,
that
in a
style,
good
which
way.
is cool. Siler, guys, I'm wearing right now.
Siler's
Siler.
great.
Here's
yeah.
a fun question. Best band name each of you ever heard?
Best band name.
Yeah, the most
We
creative,
just-
the coolest one.
Anal
Plotting
cunt.
you. The
Anal
plotting
cunt?
you. Like from just a name perspective.
Necrogoblicon is
No,
pretty
the
awesome.
best.
great album.
I know this. The
They're on the
best
Warped Tour
ever.
this year.
The best ever is Shit Sniff.
That's
Oh,
good.
that's pretty good.
Hey Ryan, who was that band that had the song Fisticorps?
I
Do you remember it?
It was
Fist-
Zimmer's Hole.
Zimmer's Hole.
Zimmer's Hole.
They had a
think
song
one
called
of the best-
Fisticorps. It was pretty
Best
not
names
cool.
is actually Dead Ships.
I can't believe I
think
remember
that's an
that.
awesome
Yeah.
Dead Ships, yeah.
Sorry,
But I-
R.I.P. They gotta
Dead
change
Ships.
that name.
Yeah, that's what I'm
though.
saying because it's so good.
Well,
Well, no, and then
It's
Alec
still cool.
thought of a better name for them, and I'm like, that worked.
Did they change the name? Do you know?
They don't want to use it.
What was the name?
Ship's
He
dead.
said no. He
Live
said
ships?
he said dead
Oh.
ships sail.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's taken.
token.
Well, this is okay. So this is leading into another question. How do you guys personally go about naming your songs?
Oh, the songs, dude. That's
The
hilarious.
working titles should
wanna
be
hear
the
it.
real
Yeah,
titles.
help us.
Chris, I'm
Hold
on
on, hold on.
fire.
We're gonna
Here
pull
we
up
go.
our
He's got
working
the
titles.
working titles.
The
This
working
is
titles should be the
hilarious.
actual names. These should be the real song titles.
These are-
I agree.
Yeah.
So I went through a phase. So like we were into Macho Man Randy Savage. So I
You
went
are
through a
not
phase-
we. Don't fucking include us all. You.
I don't live with you.
He's a
I
legend.
don't know what you're
Anyway,
into.
I named everything off of like old promos that he would cut. So like we had Cream Rises to the Top. We had
So sick.
what were some of the other ones?
Anyway, so here's
So here are current like we have 45 Evil Song, A Wolf Story, Blessed versus Cursed, Chop Chop, Deer Tooth, Discord
Deer Tooth?
and
Yeah,
Dat Chord,
you're welcome.
Echoes, Help Chris I'm on Fire,
That's the best one.
LPV3, Make 'em Squeal, Mermaids in Outer Space, Snake Mountain, and
I like Mermaids in Outer Space.
I do too.
I want to see that in your next album, guys.
I really, really want Help Chris I'm on Fire to be one of the songs.
I'm
It's
totally
so
down.
good.
I don't
At this
think
point,
I
we
have.
just
this
try
is
to
your new single by Through the
just try to
Fight.
do
Help
it.
Chris, I'm on fire.
to make the other people laugh. Is the point?
Who's the other people?
You guys.
Well, I think that would be great. We should do that. Good quality artwork of Chris actually on fire.
Yeah.
All right. Do you? Okay.
That's
That being
dark.
said, do you guys have a?
Yeah, no, he actually said, "I want to set Chris on fire." Like that's not.
That's
no,
what I
like,
heard.
Does anybody-
Photoshop,
who's everybody's
just-
favorite song title then, or favorite album title?
Ooh.
That's a good one.
Oh, the new
Fall
one?
Out Boy is like. Are you saying
Yeah,
for
Fall
us?
Out-
or-
I'm asking.
Fall
Yeah.
Out Boy is
Fall Out Boy
is
has the best
song
song titles.
titles.
By far.
See,
Like their old
Four
albums.
Years Strong.
Blink's album, "Take Your Pants Off and Jacket's" a pretty good one.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Who is it? It's a new album that has Green Jacket, Gold Jacket. I think that's
Fail. What song
hilarious.
is Census Fail.
So funny.
Here you go. You want to hear this one?
Census Phil does have some great song titles.
So this is some good shit. So here's 4 Years Strong. Enemy of the World. Here's the album song.
Jesus.
Track 1. It must really suck to be 4 years strong. Here's track number 4. 19 with neck tats with a Z. What the hell is a gigawatt?
I like that one.
How about this
That's
one?
A good
This
one.
body pays the bills.
Pretty dope.
There's another good one.
That's excellent.
Paul Revere's Midnight Ride. Flannel is the color of my energy. And then the last track is Listen, do you smell something?
Okay, Flannel is a color of my energy. What's the line? What's that line from? What band?
Oh,
Oh, that's 311.
311.
is that
Hold
the
on.
line though?
That was the last time Chris bought an album. 311.
I think
Raven.
it's
Yellow. Amber is a color of my
Amber.
energy.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Fall Out Boy. I forget the album, but Grand Theft Autumn, Where's Your Boy? Homesick at Space Camp, Sending Postcards from a Plane Crash, Wish You Were Here. That'd be awesome.
I love that stuff. So we might go that route on this record. Who knows?
Maybe we should.
Yeah.
I don't like all
Reinventing the
serious
wheel
shit.
to run myself over.
It's just
That's-
cool to see the correlation with like the wide spectrum of music that you guys listen to after
For
just
sure.
like listening to all your accounts and like where you get your titles from. That's kind of funny.
Mhm.
So
Well, I have a question.
Tasty
that,
Treat should be the
you know,
song, man.
we went
Tasty Treat. As
Tasty
now
Treat,
it's
right?
spreading.
That is gonna be a
It's
track.
spreading,
we
for
went
sure.
right into
The song's called Tasty
kind of the record, everything like that. But what is what's a little background? Like, how did all you guys? When was the moment where you're like, I want to do music? Like, what was your influence into wanting to do it as a career? Because I mean, there's a million bands out there. Obviously, everyone knows it's not something easy to do. But was there a moment where you're like, hey, this is something that I could potentially actually do?
I mean, I guess for me, like, I've always been into music. Like, when you were talking about, like, your basement, your dad's records, like, I loved that shit growing up. Like, Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet's, like, one of the greatest albums
So
ever.
good.
So just music's always been a part of my life. And then, like, probably when I started playing guitar at, like, 13, I was like, Yep.
By the way, when I was in
Dude.
Denmark, my last night there, everyone had a party. That was the album they listened to.
So
Everyone
good.
went.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you've been playing guitar for 20 years now, or over, and you still that's where you're at.
It is.
But he took a break.
You took a break.
I did
For a
take a break.
decade.
I took like a
decade.
5-year break.
Yeah.
I took like
So,
a 5-year break.
you're welcome.
That's still not good.
Yeah, because obviously it's with anything where you're either good at something or you're just
Not
you're
good
not
at
good.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some
I'm still
people,
learning how to sing.
yeah, some people they think they can sing, they think they can play an instrument and all that, but in all reality, they're just not.
Are you talking about Kris
So
now? Or?
yeah, so
I'm
like,
in the room, damn.
yeah. So what was kind of the moment where you're like, hey, you know,
I snowed.
Where that's on the podcast.
Yeah, I
We're not
see.
editing- do not edit that out.
Yeah, that's good.
yeah. So what was your guys' moments where you're like, hey, I'm actually not shitty at this. I could
Well,
possibly
I think
do this.
Ooh.
here's the thing, though. I feel in music, there's always it's different levels, right? There's guitar players and drummers and singers that are better than each one of us, but can they write a fucking song? No, like they can't write.
That's a craft in itself.
Yeah, and so like you have to. It's a team, right? It's harder with more people when you're. That's why a lot of times we're like, "Oh, I'm a rapper. I'm a single entity. You know, I'm one thing," and then you hire out. But I think it's a process of, you know, you don't have to be the best guitar player, the best drummer, the best singer. It's like, dude, write some good songs. And that was with Carson and Grant. That was like one of the coolest things. Like when we gelled with them, they work with a ton of amazing artists, but they sat there and it was funny. These two were saying, I was done with drums. I'll never forget this. Kade and James were doing some vocal stuff, and then Grant's like space bar stuff. He goes, "Holy shit, you can actually sing!" And I'm like, "What do you mean by that? Is that a compliment or what?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, man." He's like, "Because there's bands that like you hear it like demos, and you're like you get them in and they can't sing." So it's just like it's a culmination of everything. You know, you can be average or whatever, but like who's to say you're not better than this person? You know, technically you might be a better drummer or this, or a guitar player, but can you deliver live? You know, I've seen some of the most technical drummers,
Yeah.
and they can't play to a fucking click track.
And I actually
I'm
want
like,
to get into that later. Maybe we can continue this
Yeah,
train
yeah,
of thought. But
for sure.
the biggest difference between recording and playing live, because I want to go into like because you have
Yeah.
to worry about different logistics and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, as you get, I think, better as a band or more serious, you know, people ask like, what do you run? What do you do? And so
Can we stop a second? because most people would be able to intelligently talk about what they do and what they run. But this guy that we just talked about, right? So we're at a show the other day, and a guy goes, "Hey, bro, what?"
He was,
What's
a,
your
he was,
rig?
he was a
What-
guitar player in one of the other bands.
He
What's
goes,
your
"Hey,
rig? What do you
what are you
use?"
running?" He goes, "Well, I have the green pedal, and I plug the green pedal into the Marshall cab that I borrowed from Ryan."
And the only thing he knew
So
to
True story.
The
That's
best
true.
was, well, I use a Boss tuner pedal, a white one, and it's like
I am
cares.
not
Is that when you
I'm
realized?
not a
you-
gearhead.
Is that when you realized you made it then?
That was when I realized I made it.
Well, and I just bought this Shure wireless that, Kate told me
Kate
about
told
it.
me about it.
So
I'm not
it only
a
works
But then-
one
but then
out of
that's-
every
that's-
10 shows.
Let's not just pick on you because Ryan has a diagram.
I do have a chart. Yeah.
if you can imagine
crayon.
like the innards of a cable, like it's just wires.
Yeah, but all it
everywhere.
is
It's
four
a
boxes
nightmare.
with 4 plugs going into
Right.
Are you
the.
guys ever consider? I always
But-
wondered
but
this.
his
Are you guys
diagram-
ever considered tripping over a cord?
No.
Like
No.
across
We're
the
wireless.
stage?
All our stuff's behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's wireless,
I just
yeah.
fall off the monitors.
Going back to what like Jeff was saying about like not being the best at, you know, I think it has to be like the environment. Like I really am not a great guitar player. I'm not a gearhead. I barely know how to plug my instrument in.
Why are you in the band then? I'm just like, what is,
But, like,
why are you
also,
here?
I also like
Good looking.
I
the beard.
really like creating and like
Mhm.
these guys really bring out the best in me in terms of like the
So we
ideas
inspire
that I
you.
come in with. So
And the big thing,
You
like
just
what
have
he's
fun.
saying is like I've seen like Kris kills it live. Like you watch him,
Oh, yeah.
and for me it sucks because I'm behind and I've got lights blasting in my face.
Yeah.
But like when you watch the energy of the performance, that's a huge aspect that people as fans, that's what they want. They're like,
Right.
yeah, you sound amazing, but like what's the movement?
Right.
Like if the crowd's not engaging, I've seen it. The crowd will do this, they watch, and then the more you just have fun and get into it, then they're like, all right, these guys are cool. Like, I want to do what they're doing. I want to
Right.
be a part of this. So I feel that's a huge thing with, like, you know, especially with this group. Like, we've had other band members, and, like, Cade's
We're
energy
active as
and it's
fuck.
the energy, and then it makes me play harder, and then it makes Ryan play harder, and we feed off each other.
It's the same as like working out with a partner. Like
Yeah.
they inspire you to
Sure.
go and
Yeah.
like I'm gonna do another
Push it.
rep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, so and so's going hard in the paint. I gotta get up. I gotta up my game and do
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah, it's funny because like my dad, this is definitely not his style of music, and I was like, come to a show.
Yeah.
I was like,
Do it.
just come to a show.
It is now.
And he came to the show, and after he was just like, holy shit, like that was so fun to watch. And it's one of those things where, yeah, you can listen to the music on an album, but once you're there and you're watching the performance, it's a completely different story.
Which goes back to the question that you were talking about, like live versus the record.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I try to write simple so that I can be active live. Like I
So
want
that
to make.
goes into consideration. When you're-
100%.
Okay.
I think it's super smart.
I mean, the
Yeah.
big difference with the live stuff is you have to play the song all the way through. In a
Yeah.
studio, you just have to do piece by piece and chop it up.
Right,
So.
yeah. And I think that's smart
That's the big
on
difference.
Chris's part too, because like there's so many bands where they're so talented and technical,
Well,
but I'm like,
they're just stand the whole time and you have to play. That's,
you can't
nobody.
move.
I'm sorry. I appreciate all talents and everything, but I
Sorry,
don't
not
wanna,
sorry.
No.
I don't want
Let it
to.
out,
I
Pete.
don't.
Tell
want
I don't think you do appreciate it. I think
you're
you
a
think
man's
they
friend.
they suck it.
You're my friend.
Yeah. I don't want to.
And then now you need to name the bands. Name the
yeah,
fucking band.
Queen and artist and
And
instrument.
we'll arrange a
the record
meeting
came out.
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
But they won't hit you because they stand still anyway, don't they?
Yeah, I don't want to just go to a show and then watch you stand there and play your instrument.
Well, yeah,
I can
like,
listen to the record
that's
at
fucking
home. I
dope.
want to be entertained.
it's super funny
Yeah.
because you'll hear
Do a trick.
an album of someone and it just fucking slams, and then you'll see them live and
Yeah.
you're like,
Monkey.
what the hell? This
Yeah.
sucks.
doesn't translate.
Well, it translates, but it's like, if you have aggressive music, and I feel like everyone should be moving instead of just, dude's just standing there, nerding out on his guitar. Like,
Yeah.
that's boring to me. Like,
Yeah.
have
Unless
somebody
that's what
watching.
you're into, then
What, nerding out and standing still?
yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of people that are still into
Good
that
thing,
though
man.
too.
Yeah,
but-
absolutely.
I'm not sure what this was.
It's pretty awesome.
That's
It's like violin.
To
No,
each his
cello.
own. To
Oh,
each his
cello.
own, I guess. But
Yeah.
going back, I think we're kind of all in the same boat. It's like we like bands that are put on a killer live show and have really good energy and are entertaining. Stray from the Path is like
Oh,
a perfect
God.
example of this. Like those guys
Architects?
slay,
Right,
and
something.
Architects.
Well,
Yeah, I
Architects.
mean, Stray from the Path is one of the best live shows I've ever seen,
Yeah.
and just like. No production,
four
no
dudes.
nothing. Like
Nice.
like the best energy I've ever seen.
Do
Like,
we
yeah.
we play with them way back, right?
Way back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
months
the thing
ago.
is with them too. I think it's and they were a great example. So we not to get off on a tangent, but the whole thing where the crowd was dull, and he wasn't like cursing them out like, oh fuck you, you suck. He was like, all right, I got the vibe. He was super positive. And he's like, you know what? He's like, he kept getting into it. He kept stepping up himself. The band was just going nuts, and then he pulled a little trick and he said, hey, we're filming a video. Like, let's go nuts.
I remember you talking
And then
about
when he
that.
did that, it went from 0 to 100 instantly. And then at the
And then
end of that
carried on.
show, though, he literally had the whole crowd like in the palm of his hand.
Nice.
But that's the thing is his job is he won them over, and I never forget that performance. I'm like, I love them as a band. I'm like, I wonder how he'll translate.
Did
And
he then
was
announce? Did he then announce? Ha ha! I didn't film that.
Like, yeah, no video.
But I feel like if you're including your fans who are there to see you, whether they know who you are or not, like,
They'll
get
get
them
it.
involved. Like,
Yeah.
Their drummer's
let them
hilarious,
feel like
It
they're a
is
part of something,
Do you
and
use Russell?
that's tough.
Do you guys have any encouragemental tricks you use to like amp up the crowd? What's your favorite move on stage, Chris?
Oh.
The windmill.
Well, hold on.
windmill.
Everybody,
Mine's the vodka soda.
You have four.
Okay,
Four.
Alex
This
got
guy's
it.
great windmill.
Oh look, he's got on his back. Okay, sorry about that.
What's on your back?
Don't take it off. Leave it on.
Nothing.
There's nothing.
You got nothing.
Tell him your favorite move, Chris.
Yeah.
No, Alec will do it. Alec knows all my moves.
There's
I'd
four?
say, well,
The Pete Townsend, what was
well,
the
one
Pete
no
Townsend
matter
windmill?
what. Yeah, the windmill is always you always throw that out.
No,
there a few
I gotta go.
times.
I love the
Well,
foot
but
stomp.
but
Yeah, the foot
at
stomp.
the end
Yeah,
of
foot
the
stomp.
foot stomp.
Okay.
But at the end of Broken Youth, it's always the guitar over the head.
Oh, yeah.
To end the
That's
show.
right. That's a
Do you?
good one.
I've never
That's
noticed that.
always.
Yes.
What do you do?
Hold the guitar over my head.
Just like this?
Yeah.
No, just one-handed.
It's very
Yeah.
original.
Oh,
One-handed,
Yeah,
holds
it's
it.
awesome. There's a
Not
sick
not
pic
by
of
the
that.
neck.
Clearly, don't pay
Yeah.
attention to
Nope.
you.
Yeah.
There's a sick
Ever.
pic of
You
that.
shouldn't.
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
That's only 3 though.
Foot stomp.
Yeah, first time.
Windmill.
stomps.
Oh,
Foot
the
stomp,
other one is
windmill.
when he's tuning, when he hits the tuning pedal.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
and I
like
shut all the shit out in the middle of the
What'd you
set.
do? Like super stomp it? Like
Oh, he steps
No, I
on
trip
his
over
tuning
it and then
pedal.
my stuff goes
in
out
the
and
middle
then I
of
don't
the
play the whole
set.
song.
That's cool, huh?
Did I? What am I? Am I missing something?
Why do you guys keep me in this band?
I love you.
I don't know, I'm having second thoughts.
Yeah.
Am I missing
He's
something?
gonna
You're
leave this
talking us out of
podcast
it.
question.
I know,
Yeah.
it's over. You're fired.
I don't know. I
So
like
yeah,
the
man,
one
we're gonna have the MacBook
Oh,
take over for you.
He's got
So
a solid jump.
Guys, can I come on stage?
Oh,
No, we're good.
Yeah.
you actually do a
Or you have the
you do the scissor jump.
yes,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it. That's it. It's the scissor
Scissor
jump.
jump.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like this. That's what I do.
Yep.
Do you ever
Kade,
practice those moves in front of a mirror?
Absolutely.
That's all Kris does.
Kade,
Yeah.
I'm trying to. What
I know
what
you
song
lift
is
bicep
it
curls in
for
front of
Yeah, just
stand
your
after
360?
I
that
do
you always
Broken
do?
Youth. I do my ninja kick.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
No,
pretty
what's the
sick.
360 though?
What is
Is
it?
that hard,
No,
Kade?
what song is that?
Broken Youth.
Is it
Okay, do you know when you do that
as
flip?
well?
Is it hard? The bass is almost taller than you.
Yeah,
Is it like?
it's difficult.
And then you fuck up your wireless.
Yeah, well now, I thought like my wireless was cutting out during songs or whatever. Well, I realized on tour that there was a couple of shows I'd jump, and the fucking batteries would go flying out of my pack,
Duct tape, bro. It's a great.
and I
great
didn't
tool.
tape it enough. So I'd be like, "What the fuck?" And I'd have to go right to the cord, straight to to the cab, and I'm like, "What is going on?"
And then you're restricted.
And then I noticed after one of the shows, like, packs wide open, batteries are missing, and
That'll do it.
Ryan
That'll
always
do it.
spits
that.
water. on people.
Ryan's is the water spit,
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
Jeff's
yeah.
is the single snare hit
Yeah.
and the point.
Yeah.
oh, he stands up too.
I was at the show a while ago and Jeff, I think, pointed at me. I don't know. Like
This last
Yeah.
the show at the
I can't see
caboose.
shit.
The
It
show at the
sucks.
caboose. Ryan spit water, except it just all came on me.
Perfect. That was
Literally
intentional.
looked at you and went,
That's not,
James is the.
Okay,
is
what's
the-
mine?
James is the eyes closed.
And the
Yeah.
pull
No,
away.
it's because I'm trying to think of the lyrics.
yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta get
No, head down on the
Burn
floor.
myself before you guys burn me.
Every
James, have you
picture
ever
I
forgotten
have.
the
all the time.
Oh,
I sing the wrong
oh,
lyrics
my
all the
God.
time.
when you're on live.
Is that a question?
All the time. Yeah, that's a question.
Oh, yeah.
Want a funny
Okay.
story? We did a we're sharing. So we
Is this
just
still
did,
music related?
we just did the acoustic song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
Patrick
great, and we
shit.
were
Actually
playing
went
before,
really
and
well.
so I was having a bit of anxiety about the lyrics, and it was in my head. So I had Alec write lyrics after me, which was really good on the monitor until Kay told everybody to get the light. Who's told him to get out lights?
I did, but I didn't
Right,
realize.
and then they turned all the lights on.
I didn't
Yeah.
So when you're
realize
trying to
that-
read the fucking lyrics
I didn't realize
with no
that-
lights on, it's pretty fucking
You can
difficult,
see
isn't it?
James.
I
You
didn't
can
realize-
see James hunching down, trying to do the move, but you
No,
knew
and
he
you
was
can see me
reading the
squinting.
lyrics.
Everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, he's really
They
into
killed
this song."
all the
He's
lights.
moved over. And he's like, he just needed glasses.
His eyes are closed. It's because I was
They
squinting so
killed
hard.
all
We're
the
gonna give
lights
him a
on the
teleprompter.
stage.
Oh my God.
I
Yeah.
couldn't even. I could
Hilarious.
barely see my guitar. It was like, no, keep it lit here, but like everyone get your cell
Sounded
phone
good,
lights
but I
and
think I
wave.
flubbed it a little bit.
And we couldn't see shit. That was our
No,
first
it's
time
so
running
good.
through it.
Yeah, it went over well.
Okay.
But yeah.
That was great.
That's really funny.
Stuff
That's
happens,
really
but
funny.
as a band, though, you're always your worst critic. You know, I mean, we know the parts and like what we fuck up.
Do we
and then,
know the parts?
Yeah,
though?
all
I
of a
don't
sudden
know.
when we're done, we're
What's
like,
the
oh,
biggest fuck up we've had on stage before?
I can.
Oh,
I
come
got
on.
one that always sticks out in my mind.
I think I know
This
this
is
one,
before
yeah.
any
Yeah,
of you
yeah.
guys were in the
Yeah.
band. This was
Woo!
when Paul, our original singer, was in the band. We were playing a show at the Varsity Theater, and this is before I had a wireless guitar. He stepped on my cable, and it pulled my amp head like off
Oh
of my
yeah,
rig.
I remember this.
And it's luckily the thing still worked amazingly, but I was just so pissed off. After we played our set, I smashed my guitar on stage.
You
And,
did?
yeah,
That's so
I did.
sick. That's
and that
so
was
awesome,
that was like the
Did
one.
someone video that?
Whoa.
No, this was years
This
and
was
years
flip
ago.
phone, bro.
And yeah, that's my one time for sure that I can.
Yeah, there was
think
But
of.
it
one-
turned into like something
Yeah.
epic. If I was
Yeah,
at that
you
show
smashed your
and he took
guitar?
his guitar and just Billy clubbed it into the stage, I would have been like, this band is so sick. I would have
Yeah.
been like,
Wow.
Ask Dad about it. Dad saw
Okay.
it.
I remember
He was
one.
pissed. You smashed
It
your
was.
guitar.
I don't remember where it was, but it was the first song. Ryan's guitar went out. Cade's bass
yeah.
went out, and then Kris broke a string.
Well, you know
So-
you're in trouble.
Oh,
you know you're in trouble when you're relying on Kris for fucking all the music,
So,
right?
so I had, but then, I
Yeah.
took your
Oh,
guitar,
yeah.
changed out your string, but then you grabbed your other guitar, and that guitar wouldn't work. So it was just
I was
a
singing a cappella.
shit show
Yeah,
the
it
first.
was just James singing to the kick snare.
but like, see, like when we talked, we were joking about the Yellow Wolf thing. That's a perfect example of like even Asking Alexandria came to Minneapolis, sold out show. They had
was so
technical
cool.
difficulties, but the singer like owned it, and he like was cracking jokes in between. Like,
Like
how's the crowd
stand-up
doing?
comedy while they fix
Yeah,
it.
and then,
I
or
mean, that
like,
stuff
or walk
happens
off stage like
to
for a
everybody.
minute, like chill out, like they'll play a little track or some music, like give it a few minutes and then jump back out.
But they
Hey,
had a
guys.
dude hold a microphone to the guitar. I mean, like it was I thought it was super cool. Like
Yeah.
we made the best of it, and it was
Yeah.
an experience that
Shit
that doesn't
happens.
happen every night.
But I feel like if you're not like somewhat of a professional, been doing this a long time, there's no way you're gonna recover from that. So.
Right. I mean, you have to have somewhat of a contingency plan, you know? So it's like, for us, like, we have backup guitars, you know, in case we break a string, so you have a backup, you know? But so you're not standing up there changing strings on stage. But you can't plan for everything, you know? It's just like, stuff happens, you know?
My biggest pet peeve on stage is when I watch bands and the guy tunes while he's, you know what I mean? He's, you know what I
you
mean?
gotta turn that on
Super
silent
pro.
mode. Yeah.
Don't do that.
Sorry.
Don't
Big
do
no.
that.
Yeah, for all you future guitarists out there, don't do that.
Clank, clank, clank. Yeah. So anyway. But
No, that's interesting.
That's what
actually.
makes
So-
it interesting. It makes it fun.
Oh, yeah.
Doing
well, that's
shit
why
goes
people
down.
are going to keep going to live performances because it is. They
Yeah,
go to see it live. It's not the same
Yeah,
every
shit
single
happens.
night. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's different.
It's real.
It is interesting though on tour because you feel very you get the butterflies like, but you know you're set front to back and you're like the cool part is like you play and you're like, holy shit, we're done, like that was awesome. And it's like there's all this lead up to that moment on stage, and then when you're done, what's up?
I was just making me laugh because I'm thinking about the time that we were playing a bigger show and you came up to me and you're like, hey, how does that one song start again? And I was like, wait, what? And then you made me doubt whether I knew how it started. And
Sorry, dude. The drummer is the one person you don't want ever to forget apart.
I know how it goes, but can you just remember?
But that's like the one thing, like what's beautiful about tour is like you're so robotic that it's like effortless.
It's just
After
sort
the
of
first
getting
couple
dialed
shows,
in.
you're locked
smooth.
in. You do the same set every night. The band is like gelling like
It's
a
so
well-oiled
cool.
machine. But like when you have a one-off show and you're just
Those
doing
are usually
rehearsal,
harder.
Those are
it's
usually the
just-
ones you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
you know, are we gonna do that good or what?
Well, yeah, it takes 3-4 songs to like,
Warm up.
Yeah.
Kind of
Get-
feel
get
the
moist.
vibe.
rust off.
knock the dust
Get
off.
moist.
Get moist, get wet.
Oh,
Great word.
gosh.
Easy, Rod.
What? Okay, so kind of like I know your answer to this. We talked about security in live venues,
Oh yeah,
and I
man.
kind of want to get into like what's your biggest fear about like
Winnipeg?
actually playing live?
What happened in
Oh.
Winnipeg?
I thought you were talking about security. Like,
No, well,
we-
generally,
breaking
man,
into
What was the
show.
Winnipeg story?
Oh yeah, where the
we thought our
doors
when we
open.
thought our
Oh,
shit
yeah.
was getting robbed and we bum
Tell the
rushed.
story. Well, we were in.
Way to
for
listen
it.
to the question.
We were in Winnipeg.
Is that what your question was?
No, it wasn't that.
No,
Talking
it
about
wasn't that.
Oh,
But
well, go ahead.
No, the
He's
question.
already
Yeah,
asked
he's
it.
like, yeah.
he's basically talking about like the
Venue security.
dime bag situation, how he got
Oh.
blasted at a show, and it's like it's the same thing with like the school shooting stuff. It's like a simple purchase. Like if you're a venue producing cash flow, like First Ave has been around forever, and they do it really well. They pat down every person.
That needs to happen everywhere.
And,
At
and
the
there's
very,
been
very
clubs
minimum.
like I'm not gonna lie, we played in some sketchy spots with big shows.
And
Like
it's in the back of your head.
and it's in the back of my head. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, you know, I'm in the back, but like, it's still the process of like, you look at like some of the people there or the area, and you're like, it's simple. Like you can walk in with a gun and you know whatever. And so, you'd think people would learn from that horrible tragedy with Dimebag, what happened to him.
Or Christina Grimmie, like
Yeah.
just all these-
Yeah, and
absolutely.
it's just like, dude, a $2,000 metal detector or the wands. You know, the wands are even cheaper. You have to hire security, and like, yeah, it costs money, but like, you're a business. And the Quest in Minneapolis, this was years ago, that they had issues because of a hip hop show. Someone got shot or
Yep.
stabbed,
Yeah.
and we went there. And the first time I saw Panic at the Disco, there was 50 people watching them. No one knew who they were. They were the opener. Great memories there, and
Right.
then everything got ruined because someone brought a weapon in and hurt somebody. It's
Well,
like,
it was where was at the Bless the Fall show?
Mill City.
It was great. Like they had
Wand, pat you down.
You're
Yeah.
good to go. And then it's just that extra peace of mind, knowing that everyone that's came through this venue has been checked.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's not that hard. It took a little bit more time to get through when it's negative 20 out and sucks, but
But I think I would argue that everyone will just have more fun because they know it's
Yeah.
like the safety thing. It takes 2 seconds.
I just don't understand how venues can get away with not doing that at this point in the game. It's
I would
like,
think it should be pretty mandatory. At
yeah,
this
it's
point.
not, dude.
But-
We
Should be
still play
everywhere.
shows at venues. I'm like, oh, they're just ripping tickets and they come in. I'm like, okay, well.
I mean,
hope for the
most
best.
venues don't even have security guards or anything like that, you know? I mean,
Well, it's
it's
just
like...
unfortunate we're at that time. You know,
Yeah.
and that has to
So
happen.
you feel wand or metal detector
What?
in venues? What do you feel?
Same thing. I mean, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Whatever. They're doing the same thing.
wait. So I'm curious about what happened in Winnipeg?
Oh, we were.
Oh, we thought we got a bus roll.
We thought it- yeah.
got
So
broken
security
into.
was out back by all the buses, and they'd seen our door open.
No, I saw it because we.
Oh,
so
We were taking showers.
So we had there was a hotel connected to the venue, and you took a skyway, and the skyway went right over the alley.
Look at it.
And
Okay.
so
And then you took a left, and then you go down the street. And then
no,
you
but
like
I was on the way back from
Oh,
the
okay.
shower, and I looked down at
Yeah, it
the
was a good
bus,
shower.
and the door is like wide open,
Tasty.
and I have the keys to get in. So
We
I'm like,
literally
holy
all
shit.
just
Yeah.
boom, like
So like,
bolted.
12
was
of
it
us
merch?
bolted, yeah.
And then all the remains crew like bolted out
Yeah.
with us, and I'm like ready, like I'm gonna
Because
fucking kill somebody.
Actually, in that venue,
Yeah.
it's been robbed. Like bands have been robbed before.
It's
And
not
when
a
we
good-
got
it's not
there,
a good area.
they were like, "Hey,
Yeah.
you know, be aware of this."
Yeah.
And even our manager was like, "Hey, our boys got robbed here not too long ago."
Yeah.
So we were on high alert. Like,
and then the doors wide
and then
open.
the fucking
I'm like,
doors wide open, and
So we
you know.
got the guy, we tied him up.
Yeah,
We had some
So
a
we
rug.
caught
We
those
had a
fuckers.
rug. It was great. So we had it's kind of cool because we were cutting down trees in the middle of Canada. We had to buy an axe. So we cut the guy in a couple pieces, and then we put him in. Well, funny you should say that. We put him in a box like this,
And we
then, and then we tucked the duct tape.
and we shipped them to his parents.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, nothing happens.
That took
I
a
think.
dark turn.
This is
Yeah.
dark metal. This is where
Yeah.
that term comes
This is your
from.
style,
That's
dude.
a
That's
song.
brutal.
That's a song.
But that's,
brutal.
I think it maybe was like someone forgot to lock.
Oh yeah, so yeah. The true story is
Allegedly.
Kristen shut the fucking door.
Probably, but nobody is on there. Everything
Once
is
again,
good.
why is Chris in the band?
Chris,
What
you
is he-
You
what's
are
he
going to
bring
take
to
over
this?
this episode description. Why is Chris in the band? Why is he tinkling your
Oh, actually,
But the funny thing is,
tinkering?
The funny thing is,
Tinkle
we weren't
tinker.
robbed.
Chris
And we
Tinkerwiser.
destroyed our bus looking for our passports,
Yeah,
money. Like, we
yeah.
destroyed this thing to check because we seriously still thought we got robbed.
Mhm.
So we might as well have got robbed because we just destroyed that bus.
But,
Just a
looking for
mind
our
fuck.
own shit.
Mhm.
It was bad.
All went okay.
But it worked
though.
out fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, so kind of like, I guess going on sort of like the final segment of this
Yeah.
episode, I kind of want to know, like, what do you guys do outside of the band for people who are either like thinking of starting bands or like considering whether or not to go into music? Like, who are you guys outside of Throw the Fight? I just kind of want to get into that section a little bit.
Who are you?
Ryan.
It's a
Buzz?
mystery.
This is meta. I'm a graphic designer and a dad. So there you go.
Yeah?
Huh?
I'm a dad.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
Wrong.
Probably.
Maybe.
Are.
False
You
news.
know it.
What am I?
Are you, oh, just
What do you
a
call
guy
me?
Oh,
standing here.
no, I thought he was gonna respond.
Oh, I mean,
I'm a trainer, personal trainer, run a clothing brand, and I'm in this.
And
awesome
what
band.
clothing brand do you run?
It's Iron and Stink. That's our
Iron
new
and Stink.
underwear line.
Okay.
Sick.
No, Iron and Ink Fitness, which is what the podcast obviously is what we're doing, and yeah, and play music with these guys, which is awesome. So that's it. You just look good. all
I'm an
the time.
international
Supermodel.
Yeah,
international
that's about it.
supermodel.
And
People,
then,
people be like, is he really?
Zoolander is
Is he?
actually about Kade.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, nice.
Based on a true story. Yeah,
I can't wait for my book to come out.
yeah.
It's
It's
gonna
gonna
be
be
Just
good.
leave you a quick read. 2 pages.
It will. It will.
Here's my musical. Here's
Here's
my musical career.
my musical career. Here's my modeling career.
Oh, you open it. He goes, "Hey, there's no print in it." That was the career.
Yeah, that was it. The end.
So tell them what you do.
I'm an outside sales rep, slinging auto parts, I guess.
Oh, shit.
Yo, you need some ties? We got you.
Yo,
What do you need?
you want some con?
Yo, you need a battery? You need a battery? You need some disc pad, brake
Here comes the
pads?
meat wagon.
Chris is a full-time lumberjack, part-time
Bear.
bear.
True.
That's
No.
a great website.
I am getting my master's in marriage and family therapy,
Nice.
and I am a psychotherapy intern.
We should have had him on the mental health episode.
We'll have him on another
Well, the
one.
Yeah,
good, the
no,
good,
we'll
the
get
good
him- we'll
thing
get
is,
him
the
back
good thing is,
here.
don't worry. You could do that 20 years from now. You still won't be graduated. You know what I mean?
So,
Oh my God.
so James is a stand-up comedian.
James
Yes,
called me
James
out.
does
So-
stand-up comedy.
So James texted me the other day.
That's good.
And he's like, "Hey, I got a question for you." And I was like, "I can't talk right now. I'm at parent-teachers conferences because I have a kid." And I was at his parent-teacher conference. And James texts back and he's like, "Dude, are your parents mad?"
I respond back with, "No, hey, dude, let me know. Hopefully you don't get grounded tonight."
Yeah, hopefully they don't take away your cell phone. I'd really like to talk later.
Yeah, that's funny.
I know it's a pretty good one.
Shit.
I own a company, and I'm also a sales guy.
Representative.
Yeah, sales rep for another company as well. So I do too much.
And dad
And a
as
dad,
well.
2 kids.
No, it's just interesting to hear like what you guys do outside of music and how much does that influence your music at all? Like what you guys do outside of it?
Yeah, it makes me want to do music more.
Yeah.
True
Dude,
story.
honestly,
Real
like,
talk, I love it.
Real talk.
well,
boy.
real talk is the only reason we've been able to do a lot of the stuff we've been doing is because we have other careers.
Which funded it, yeah.
If I'm being
Totally.
completely honest, like,
You're on a podcast,
like,
you should be.
yeah, I mean, it's like music does not pay our mortgages, at least at this point, but we are fortunate enough to be in the spot where like the music does pay for us to continue doing the music without it like dipping into our pockets too much at this stage, which is cool. But
Well, I mean, we work
Yeah.
with college degrees basically, so
yeah, for sure.
I mean, it is what it is. But like anything, you don't want to put your eggs in one basket, right? So we've all been pretty intelligent when it came to additional endeavors.
Diversifying your assets.
Wu-Tang said it best. Diversify them bonds.
Well, it's like kind of what I'm getting into, because what
Yeah.
we have talked about so many times, and Alec and Jeff, you both know this on the show, is like going that extra mile and being go-getters. Like, you all have day jobs and you all do this, and you do it despite like the odds, which is kind of just cool.
Well,
So,
I think
like you said,
every
diversifying.
band or every business has somebody that's driving it, right? So for the longest time, Ryan has driven this band, right? And there's a lot of bands that probably have equal talent and got great songs, but you know they got to go around in circles because you have to have somebody. Everybody has their own role, right? And that Ryan on the business side of things for the longest time that's been his
He's
been
the
his thing.
machine.
It's been great. So where we don't do all that, obviously you got Alec now and Jeff doing a lot of some of the social media too, picking that up too, and understanding where we're at with that, and a lot of it's reassessing where you're at with things too, and rebranding, re-looking at things, and that's been a bit more of a focus recently too.
Yeah.
And then everybody else has a role. So Kris and Kade have been doing some more writing, So everybody's got the bit they do, and that's
It's fun. I think it's like refreshing to like reassess stuff, but the main core of what we're doing is still the same, and that's the cool part. It's like we're not trying to deviate or do something totally different than what we've already done. We're just gonna keep writing good music and hopefully just try to branch out and get more people involved in the brand, and then go from there. So.
Which says bands are brands, which is really
100%,
interesting.
yeah,
for sure.
It's a business. I mean, it's for sure. And
Yep.
I think a lot of times too, you get.
Well, you have product, and you're writing, you're creating it, you're selling it,
Yeah,
you're pushing it.
the one thing that I would really love to see a shift from is like the vapid metrics of like the vanity metrics, like having 1 million plays on a video, having 100,000 Facebook likes. That stuff doesn't mean shit, Like the real metric is, do you have fans that are going to give you money and to keep supporting
Right.
it, So it's like that 1 million plays on a video, it doesn't mean anything, I mean, if you've got people buying tickets to your shows, buying your merch, buying the music, sharing it with your friends, you really need to identify who those people are and then really focus your time and energy on those people and really like, getting to know them, becoming friends
Yeah.
with them. I don't even like thinking of our fans as fans. Like, I don't
No.
even call them fans because
No.
the people who come to our shows a lot, like, we get to know them personally and they're more friends than fans. So, I mean,
Yeah.
bands
Yeah,
need to
yeah.
focus on that more.
I mean, I get messages all the time, and so it's I get
it's
people
amazing. That's
sending
cool.
me
And you're the bass
songs.
player,
From
like
his mom.
I know, which is crazy. Yeah, my mom.
so
writes
your mom or
me
your
all the
aunt?
Yeah.
Which one?
time. My mom.
Okay.
No, but I've had people sending me their songs and their music, and they're like,
cool.
"Hey, I want to. What do you think?" Or how do I get started? And
It's the
just
biggest form of
really
flattery,
cool.
right?
It is.
Yeah.
right.
It's
Particularly when he's the bass player. Like, why would you send him
I know,
anything?
but I just don't
Do you
understand.
notice my
that.
voice lifted then? Why would you send him
Well,
anything?
I think it's so cool, especially when there's hometown shows here in. Did I say that?
Yeah, especially.
Damn it.
Especially?
Especially
We'll do
when
classes.
yeah,
Hey,
especially when
especially-
there's hometown shows and everything. That 10, 15, 20 people. It's that go to
Yeah, it's a
every
cult.
single show.
Yeah.
Like the show at the
It's awesome.
Caboose, a guy drove
Caboose. Caboose.
Caboose.
Z.
Z.
Saskatoon.
A guy
A
drove.
guy drove in, a guy.
Okay, see, we're
I'm
getting
coming all
to
the
it.
time.
There's a heated rivalry here that we have to
The-
discuss
oh.
before we end.
What is the
Guy-
heated rail?
Let's
Let's
tell
go
the
finish your
story.
line,
Let
and
it
I want to
finish.
see
Let
this
it
heated
Well, it
rivalry.
was so cool how a guy drove from Oshkosh, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 6-hour drive.
6-hour
or
drive,
5.5.
and then the guy had to work at like 5
From
in the morning
Caboose
the next
to
day.
Yeah.
Caboose.
Yeah.
What?
He was
Yeah.
there, yeah.
Drove all
I
the way
gave
from
him a
Wisconsin.
drumstick, and he was like, "Yeah, man,
That's awesome.
I'm in. I live in Oshkosh," and I was
Holy
like,
shit.
I get on my phone, I'm like, "How far away is it?" He's like, "About 5.5, 6 hours." I'm like, "And you have to work at 6 a.m.?"
Yeah.
So I'm like, "You're
you- did you-
literally
And we headlined.
you're
Did
gonna,
you-
know,
when
you're
you were
gonna
calculating-
actually
Yeah.
show up to work like without sleeping." And so a lot of times, like, we just have to keep in mind that with people and I'm humbled by that,
Well,
and it's like even today, this morning, we had Jake, a huge fan of the clothing brand. He came in, he was at a wedding, and him and his whole crew stopped in to, and he was like, "Dude, this is such an awesome experience," and having him just come through and he's so supportive. It's the same thing as the music. There's no difference from what we're doing here as the band. So what I love is I can work with these guys who are my best friends, and we write music, and it goes hand in hand. So it's cool, man. I just think
we're all like-minded, and we all, have the same drive and passion towards the same thing, and that's really tough to find. I mean, we've all been in different bands and had member changes and stuff like that. It's really tough to find.
I've been in 3 bands.
Not me, I'm a lifer.
Yeah,
I've been in 3 bands for an idiot.
Yeah, your ego's so big, you've only stayed in one band.
TTF for life.
I will never leave this band.
This is my fucking band.
You need a TTF forever tattoo.
I should, right?
Right here.
Well, what is this heated rivalry going on?
You're looking at
we
one
can
of
close
the...
with this.
There's
Let's
no,
close
Sure,
with
let's
this.
close
there's no
with this
fucking rivalry when one person wins and one person loses. Boom.
But what are you winning?
Oh.
A race?
So-
perhaps?
So
Don't
like
set it
a
up.
year ago, we were
Chris got it.
in Mankato, which unfortunately
Which is where we're
our
supposed to
show
be right now.
we were supposed to be in Mankato tonight. We had a show,
Snow.
Yeah, and the snow.
We got
Freaking
dumped out.
March, right? Come on.
So sorry for anyone that was going.
but last time we were there, so talk about having fun with your friends. We ended up having a bracket speed walking competition in the parking lot behind.
It's
the
like
venue.
2:30 in the morning.
It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I wish I.
These two went head to head.
James and Alec. for
And
those that are
basically,
watching.
I still think I won that one. but-
No, because you weren't even speed walking, dude.
No,
You were
you were-
partially
you were
running.
running.
Yes.
So I was not running. You're the
Partially
fucking
running.
runner.
Oh my god.
what's so
See?
funny?
Okay,
Yeah,
So we were
yeah.
supposed to settle it.
The fucking rule is,
Tonight
based on
in
speed walking,
Mankato.
you are supposed to maintain one leg on the ground at all times. This guy, fucking ninja feet, no feet on the
I
ground.
guess it's cool though.
So that's
today-
it. So we'll
today-
watch a little thing. So the
No,
point being is,
today is the official
That's
rematch.
Yeah.
Well, it was
I'll-
supposed to be,
yeah.
We're doing it
but
today.
I think
We're back in the
we
warehouse.
need to do it old school, back behind the warehouse.
but you
Let's
gotta
get it
watch a
done.
video of how to speed walk.
And then I say we
Yeah,
tape
we-
it, we
we
throw it up on the.
We definitely need to clarify the rules.
James actually looked up the official rules of
You know-
speed walking.
I did,
There's-
and
there are
I
actually
reposted on
official
Instagram.
rules.
Yes, yes.
What?
Why don't you read them, sir?
Fucking read the rules.
Well, what was the upset where Ryan just came in and just fucking
Yeah,
beat?
well, that's
who was
because.
it? Was that? Did he beat you or was that?
Oh, I'm-
did he
I,
beat
no, I
Kris?
beat Kyle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle was there.
Yeah.
That's right.
Way
He's
on
got
that
those
bucket.
long legs.
Yeah.
Hey, is he still around?
Is he still alive?
Yeah. it's-
Kyle?
Yeah. Where's
Kyle?
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 No.
Yep, sounds about right.
Kyle.
Kyle!
Hey, what Kyle?
Kyle, yeah, man?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in a hot minute.
Neither of us.
James
Alex.
is very, very competitive.
Well,
so
while-
we'll get back to the hotel
But we'll
at
film
night at like 2:33, whatever.
Oh, God.
And Kris and James will wrestle. And I fucking hate it because I'm.
I get excited, but it's amazing. It's like
Because
MMA.
I have a temper, so like if I'm wrestling or whatever, I don't know. I'm competitive as well, so I'd be afraid that I'd like snap and just punch somebody. And
But Kris
these
is
guys are, like,
trained. Chris does.
they immediately take their clothes off. Definitely Kris. He gets the
Shirt's
barrel.
always off.
Shirt's always off.
Dude, it's hilarious. And then James,
And they're
James
just
feel
is
free.
he's
It's
from
important to just
England,
be
so I've known
free.
him for a long. He's a scrapper. He's
He
a
is
good
a
fighter.
scrapper.
He's a good fighter.
He
So
is.
you take a guy who's a good fighter, and you take a guy who's a trained in jujitsu.
Mind you, the
Very,
weight,
very hairy and kind of
Very
hairy.
Mind
Oh.
you, the weight
He
difference
uses
is
his
different.
beard product on himself.
Ah,
to
yeah.
slip
Yeah.
out of
I
the
literally
ground.
just
Yes.
go like
Well,
this
it's so
and just
funny
like.
because
Yeah.
James is so serious about it, and
Yeah.
Chris
Yeah.
is laughing the whole time.
Because
And
you
meanwhile, I'm
choking me out the
crying.
fucking time.
And
Wait,
meanwhile,
he does. James puts in. I mean, he's going. They're
Oh,
going.
yeah.
But
so-
Chris is like laughing. So I'm like, is anything happening here? Like, what's going on? And James just keeps going at him, going at, and they're in submission. And like, James has him like in a sleeper, and then Chris is like, laughing and like choking. I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah,
But
and
Chris waits, and he like waits, and he whoop, pops his head in his
Oh,
beard,
yeah.
all in one, out of his underarm, and he just puts him to sleep. And I'm like,
night.
what just
Night, night.
happened? It's like unreal.
Meanwhile-
And so I'm eating pizza at 3 in the morning.
Of
Going,
course
Yeah.
you are.
yeah,
of course.
these two are totally,
Eating pizza.
you know, shirts on just.
He's eating
getting all
pizza, and then I'm in the corner crying, going, "Why are my friends fighting? Please don't fight!" Because I'm thinking the band's gonna fucking break up.
But they're
because
not.
somebody's
And then when
gonna
they're done, they're
lose.
like, "Hey, good job."
Where
good
was
job."
it that
And they like got red
James
marks on them.
went to sleep?
I didn't.
Oh,
I
I
thought
I've
you
never
were
gone to sleep.
"Oh, but somebody's got a huge knot on their head, or what? what happened?
Me and you went at it, and
This is just like
Yeah.
that
Oh,
one.
dude.
See, we have fun. That's all
Okay,
you
so
gotta do.
if you give me
Back to
the
the rules, though.
What are
Back
the
to the
rules?
rules, though.
race walking, according to the United USA Track and Field Association,
Fake news.
true story.
America.
Race walking differs from the running in that it requires the competitor to maintain contact with the ground at all times and requires the leading leg to be straightened as the foot makes contact with the ground. Meaning you would have one foot on the ground at all times. None of this shit that you do.
Today is the day.
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
Oh, just.
But we'll also film this.
But-
Can we add in a bit at the end?
But
for sure.
however, I
We do
would
whatever you
want. I kind of want to request a drug test for both of them because I think somebody has been.
Yeah,
using,
actually pee in a cup, both of you.
Yeah.
I'll pee on
yeah,
Kade. I'll
let's
just
go.
pee on Kade.
pee in my hand and I will taste it
He's
to
good.
see if there's
He's good.
illegal
He's
substance
good.
in there.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, so we're gonna film this. We'll put on the episode.
Can we do
and
the
then-
golden shower too then? Is that part of the episode?
I'm in.
Winner,
Okay. If you're
Winner
winner
in.
pays for or no, the loser has to buy Jets pizza.
Well, I ain't going
How
for
many
pizza,
times did, like,
so
is Jets a sponsor of us yet? Like,
We're gonna hit
seriously,
them
we
up.
plugged
They
them
will.
so
They
many
will.
times.
Yep.
should be.
Love it.
Or how about you guys decide, since you two are challenging, what should be the bet? What are we
Yeah.
doing here? Like, if you win, what do you want? Or if you
Are
win,
you a
what's
pitcher or the catcher?
What do you want?
Depends on the day.
What do you want?
Why are you
I mean,
touching
do
the
you want
bottle
to
in
just
a
do,
second
how
round?
about, I don't know. You have to eat today, right? We're going to go probably eat somewhere?
I'm not. I'm going to go home and milk a cow.
Are you serious?
No, but
Oh.
that'd be funny because I live in Wisconsin. It was a fucking joke, okay?
Dude.
Joke's on you, bitch.
Well, you just told us
do
you bought a
live.
boat. Now,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
did he buy a cow as
Well,
well?
the funny thing is, it's not surprising because
My kid does want a fucking cow. Dad can have a cow for my birthday. No, you can't have a fucking cow for my birthday.
Why?
Have a chicken instead, motherfucker.
The funniest thing is, like, James lives out in Wisconsin, so it gets out there a little bit. When you said that, it doesn't surprise me, but it's
Yeah.
funny, his son was, it was on Facebook or something,
Yeah.
and your wife posted it. He's on a tractor going,
Digging.
like, digging in a
In the
hole.
snow.
Like,
In the snow.
snow.
It's
So awesome.
shorts and t-shirt, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Dude,
only
country.
in Wisconsin.
Well,
I
man,
wanna
I'm
know-
a country boy.
Speaking of bets,
Yeah.
I want to know who the pizza champ is.
We haven't done that episode yet. It's going to come up. We're going to get candles lit. We're doing the whole
But
nine.
did we settle? Did we settle on?
No, he keeps claiming he has when he hasn't even done it
I know,
yet,
but did we
so.
settle on the
Oh.
on who's getting
Yeah, we're gonna
tattooed
do-
and what it's gonna
Yep.
be?
So it's 2 8-corner. Collins is gonna be the referee. 2 8-corner Jets. 2
No,
topping.
no, hold on. It
Oh.
is going to. We're going volume and time. There are two
Yep.
factors.
Correct.
Like you
Whoa.
have to keep ingesting them. If you
Yep.
throw up the pizza, you forfeit the competition.
Correct. Yep.
Could you weigh the pizza that got
Sick.
thrown up
Yeah.
and take it off? You weigh it, right? You weigh the pizza that got...
We got that
And then-
scale right there.
Yep. And then the
What's that
and
for?
then
Other
the
things you can measure?
tattoo. What was the idea of the tattoo?
It was
Someone
the
thought-
tattoo. No, it was the pizza guy like holding up and like either of your initials are going to be on
Initials are a part
Initials
of
are
it.
on
See, I think it
So
should
you both
be-
bet- you're
I
both
think
betting
it
you
should
need more,
be- I think
right?
it should be.
You had it.
I think the loser gets tattooed.
This-
Property of Pizza Champ, and then the other
That's
person's
awesome.
name.
Yeah,
But
that's
where are
good.
you gonna put that
James,
tattoo?
That's
Clearly
good.
lower back.
on your butt cheek.
Right here. Right here, target.
You both do have
What, nice bust?
From
Don't
what
say
I know.
that. Why would you...
No, they have room on their lower back.
Lower back.
How do you know that?
How do
Property
you know
of.
that?
How do
We
you know
don't wrestle
that?
in hotel rooms like James and Chris.
Yeah.
Well, we've showered together.
Oh, true.
That's a good place to end it, right?
Yeah.
To wrap it up, you guys have any closing thoughts, like per guy, anything that you want to end with?
Follow us on social media.
Yo,
Word.
Where can they follow you? What are your social media handles?
I am
I
on
dare you all to
Instagram.
post this, by the way, Adam.
That's
Hit
all-
all of our
that's-
socials.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
that's
will.
that's all you're on.
I'm only on
That's
Instagram.
gonna end. I'm on Instagram.
I'm on
That's it.
Instagram.
So
Wise
each-
Ninja.
At
each
Wise
guy's their
Ninja,
own-
WEIS.
Yeah,
Ninja.
each guy has their own Instagram. To follow the band, though, it's at ThrowTheFightMN is the Instagram. ThrowTheFight.com is the main website. We actually, unlike a lot of bands, we actually update that, and it's current.
Lined
So
up.
tour dates, yep,
And
tour
then-
dates, ticket sales, merchandise, all that stuff. So it's on there. Go on there, and then our Facebook, Throw the Fight. It's pretty
YouTube
straightforward.
is youtube.com/throwthefight.vivo. Yours is wrong in your Instagram, by the way.
I'd like to
You
thank.
just have Throw the Fight.
Oh.
It's Throw the Fight VEVO.
And you're
Oh,
talking
my
to
bad.
Chris.
Yeah.
Correct?
I've also got a MySpace page, so.
Hey, it's all Thomas.
I'd like to thank Iron Inc. for letting me go grab a bunch of free shit after
Yeah,
this.
dude,
So
that's somebody so
I will post on my Instagram the stuff that they gave me free just to confirm I got the free shit
It's
for doing the
me
podcast.
too.
Will you guys also
Well,
post that
it's-
on your?
it's
Yeah.
what-
I
funny,
will post
dude,
all my stuff.
Because
Yeah.
as he's like over there, he goes, "Oh, I've never seen it." He's walking through. All of us go, "Hey, watch him! He's gonna
Yeah.
steal shit." And Chris is like, he's gonna put a hat underneath his current hat.
Speaking of security,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Check his pockets on the way out.
All right, let's get this parking lot brawl
but thanks,
going down.
guys.
Mine is
Yeah,
Kate
thanks for having
Caps.
us.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Kate's
Cats.
personal.
Kate Caps.
Yep, Ryan. Yo.
Ryan Bouncer, just my name.
Okay.
Keeping it original.
And obviously, you guys
James
can
England,
follow
007,
Iron Ink
bitch.
Fitness at
Yep.
ironandthickness.com.
Thickness or thickness?
Iron and Ink Fitness.
This is Iron and Think.
This is Iron and Think, but no, if you have questions, send it to podcast
Yes.
at ironandinkfitness.com.
Oh, you guys want to see more of me on here? Great, cool. Just send it.
We'll make sure
Oh,
you
I'm
guys
sure
have
you'll get your direct
questions.
messages
Yeah.
again requesting more of a...
No, thanks guys. It's cool like having as friends and band members. It's cool just having you on here and
Yeah, this
chatting it
is
up.
fun.
And we'll do many more. And yeah, so sending questions. We've been getting a lot. People just asking random stuff like tattoo questions, fitness stuff. Obviously, we're probably gonna get a lot of music related.
Wrestling
so
matches.
wrestling matches between
Beard
Kris
oil.
and James. Beard oil. Yeah,
Follow
so-
Kris on his Instagram to get his beard oil.
Mhm. We're just plugging a company.
I know.
You don't have it.
But thanks,
I'm
guys.
starting it
Thanks for
now.
coming
I have
on.
to start
And yeah, so new Thrill the Fight record. We're gonna be in the studio in April. Get ready for it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. All right. Well,
Yep.
thanks, guys. We'll see you next episode.
Yeah.
Whoa.
See ya.